It may be the shortest track on the schedule, but the Martinsville Speedway is long on history, hosting the best since 1949. But today the stakes continue to get higher, and the championship pressure is certainly starting to mount, which could make the Kroger 200 one of the most exciting races of the year. Last Saturday at Talladega, Timothy Peters was the beneficiary of a new green-white checkered finish rule at the Superspeedway, winning his first trucks race of the season.
Timothy Peters going to go back-to-back at Talladega.
Eric Jones heads into today's race with an 18-point lead over Tyler Reddick and 23 points in front of Matt Crafton, the two-time defending series champion. And Ray Dunlap goes under the sea with driver Ray Black Jr.
Wow, that's awesome.
Only 4 races remain on the Truck Series calendar. Welcome, everybody, to the Camping World Truck Series Setup Show. Martinsville may very well be the most challenging of them all. 2 drag strips and 2 U-turns. The half-mile track leaves little margin for error, which means the top spot in the standings could be up for grabs. Welcome into the Setup Show on this Halloween Saturday afternoon. I'm John Roberts, joined by 2-time series champion Todd Bodine. Ray Dunlap will join us shortly. You can see our little news set here is a little spooky, Todd, but nothing can be scarier than driving at Martinsville. But many of the drivers feel right at home.
Yeah, I think Martinsville's the great equalizer, JR. It's not your mile and a half where aerodynamics rules. You don't have to have experience in the draft to go fast. Martinsville's a short track. Every driver in this field grew up on a short track. I think this is the great equalizer. I think we're going to see a different winner this week.
Yes, and who knows what might happen before we get to the end of this one. There's a lot of beating and banging in our future. Here's a look at some of the stories making headlines in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. NASCAR announced this week that the 33 Truck Series team with driver Brandon Jones was penalized following an infraction that occurred during pre-race qualifying inspection at Talladega. It's a P4 penalty that includes crew chief Shane Huffman being fined $10,000 and suspended for the next 3 races, as well as a loss of 25 driver points for Jones and 25 owner points for Maurice Gallagher Jr. Driver Austin Theriault has been sidelined since suffering a 10% compression fracture of his lower back in this crash on October 3rd at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Earlier this week, Brad Keselowski confirmed that Theriault's Hans device broke during the violent collision with the unprotected wall. Theriault could return next week at Texas Motor Speedway. 17-year-old Austin Cindric will be behind the wheel of the number 29 truck for Theriault. Cindric won 4 Rallycross races and 1 IMSA race this season, but this will be his first NASCAR National Series start. And on Thursday afternoon on Race Hub, Kyle Busch announced the 2016 lineup for his 3-team operation in the Truck Series. Christopher Bell and William Byron will each compete full-time, while 19-year-old Cody Coughlin and Daniel Suarez will share the seat of the remaining entry, each competing in at least 10 races. Here's Ray Dunlap with more on Thursday's announcement.
You know, Johnny, I had a chance to talk with Kyle Busch, and of course he's the boss at KBM, but nobody in that organization could be more excited about his 4-driver lineup for 2016.
Trying to make sure we can continue our winning ways with the young talent that we've got coming up through with William Byron and Christopher Bell, both rookie drivers going for the championship next season, and hoping that those two can lean on one another as well as me to be able to push themselves harder and to be able to make sure that they're running up front each and every week. But then we've got the 3rd-time team that will still continue full-time, but it'll be split between 2 drivers with Daniel Suarez and Cody Coughlin. So I think there's a whole dynamic duo there with those two, but also just the whole group of being young talent trying to raise these guys and get them up to the next level of NASCAR in the Truck Series and continue their path onto the top.
And, of course, Eric Jones will be full-time in Xfinity Series next year, so that leaves a really good seat. Kyle Busch told me that as of now, he does not expect to compete in the trucks in 2016. And another note from KBM, next week, Jeb Burton will be behind the wheel as we go to Texas.
Ray, thank you. That's a powerful lineup. Let's now take a look at qualifying from earlier today. And Todd, Daniel Hemrick qualified 5th.
Daniel continues to impress us. Another great qualifying spot. I think if this is his best shot this year here to get a win.
A fourth-place qualifying effort for Tyler Reddick will be his best career start at Martinsville.
Reddick finished 5th there in the spring, and he's the best qualifier of our 3 guys in the championship chase.
In third qualifying position, John Hunter Nemechek.
Since starting full-time with the Truck Series, John Hunter has got a win at Chicago, and he's had top 10s in his last 5 races, doing very well.
Up to the front row we go with Cameron Haley second, and that ties his best career start.
Haley thought for sure he was going to get the pole. His best career finish is a 4th. I think he can do better than that today at Martinsville.
And how about Cole Custer? He is on the pole. It's his first place starting position of 2015.
And this does not bode well for the rest of the field. His 2 wins in the Truck Series, St. Louis and Loudon, both started from the front row. He's got a great shot today.
Well, let's send it out to the track for our grid report. We start with Vince Welch and our pole sitter, Cole Custer.
Cole Custer certainly is one that you're going to have to deal with today, no question about it. In March, had a good truck, contended for the win, didn't get it. What did you learn from that race in March that I think might benefit you today?
I kind of learned how hard you have to push things. Just coming through the field those 2 times, I really learned on just how to work traffic, how to, just run the race here. So, we got a real good Haas on me, Chevrolet, and I think we're going to have a shot to win it again today.
What do you need from the truck to be good at Martinsville?
Definitely long run speed. I mean, we only get 2 sets of tires, so you're going to have to go a pretty long ways. So definitely have some long run speed and, try and keep the tires under you.
Cole Custer has already won once this season. He'll try to do it again, get win number 2. Let's go to Hermie Sadler.
Well, Vince, Cameron Haley will join Cole Custer on the front row. Now, you qualified 3rd here last race. You finished 11th. What do you need to do differently to improve that finish and give your truck and your team a shot to go to victory lane?
Well, our Tundra was good for about 240 out of the 250 laps in the spring, and then I just wasn't aggressive at the end there and ended up 11th. So I think we just need to do the same thing we did in the spring for 190 laps, and in the last 10 I need to be more aggressive. But our Carolina Net Tundra is really strong. It's awesome to have breast cancer awareness with the pink and also Maui onion flavored peanuts. So looking forward to the race.
The initial start and the restarts are always important at Martinsville. What did you learn last time that you can apply today to give yourself a better opportunity on the restarts to hold your ground?
Well, it's going to come a lot into the spotter's hands, really. Coming off pit road here, you do not want to start on the outside. You just get freight train on the outside. And you get lucky if you can pull in, but you usually just fall back 3-4 positions. So if you're on the outside, you're going to need to be a little rough to get it down to the bottom. And if you're on the bottom, you're going to need to go for it. 3 wide, 4 wide. I mean, we've seen it all here. So just being an aggressive, big thing.
That's Cameron Haley. He starts on the front row. JR and his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, this is a home game for him. He'd like to take him to victory lane as well.
Hermie, thank you very much. Let's take a look at how this field will look when the green flag waves. There are the guys who will start up front, Ray.
Cole Custer, our 13th different pole winner this season, but I really like this row 3 and 4. All of those KBM trucks are lightning fast. They win a lot in the fall race.
Let's take a look at where some other key drivers are starting.
How about Matt Crafton starting 13th? He's got 27 starts at Martinsville, and that's right on his average. It's 13th. But he's got only one win at Martinsville, and he started 10th. That tells you how hard it is to win at Martinsville starting outside the top 10.
Well, it is Halloween, and we are racing in Martinsville as we count down to the command for the drivers to start their engines. Johnny Sauter is hoping to trick the field by going from 17th to a victory lane treat. So, what are some of the keys that these drivers need to focus on in order to have success at Martinsville? When the setup show continues, we will run a couple of laps around the paperclip with Todd to find out. And then Ray Dunlap goes under the sea with the driver of the 07 truck, Ray Black Jr. That and more when the setup show continues right here on FS1. Is that Ray Black Jr. or Captain Bly or Captain Black?
Captain Hook, it looks like.
Arg. Today's race marks the 34th NASCAR Camping World Truck Series event at Martinsville Speedway. 24 different drivers have won a race, and 22 drivers have won a pole. Here's what the drivers had to say when they think of this uniquely shaped track.
Short track. Tough.
Hope I don't wreck.
Somebody got into Spencer Gallagher going into turn number 1.
Fun. Hot dogs.
Austin will win at Martinsville today.
This is the 5th of 5 short track races this season, and Kyle Busch Motorsports and Brad Keselowski Motorsports have won the previous 4 races this season. It was Joey Logano at Martinsville, Jones at Iowa, Bell at Eldora, and Ryan Blaney at Bristol. So hot dogs aside, you know, this track, Todd, it's as important to slow down as it is to go fast. So let's take a couple laps around this place.
Yeah, Martinsville's unique. It's the only short track in the country like it, and it's a lot of fun. You heard these guys say, so I'm going to say fun, but it requires a lot from the truck. You know, you got to have everything perfect in that truck. The first thing you got to have is you got to have motor. These long straightaways go from very low speeds up to 95, 100 mile an hour at the end of straightaway. A lot of acceleration. You got to have a good motor. But then you got to have brakes. You got to slow down in these paper clip corners, really tight corners. And if you don't get it slowed down, you kill your front tires. But when you get it slowed down, you got to rotate through the center. That's where you're going to beat trucks. That's how you're going to win the race. Rotate through the center and get that forward drive back up off the corner and get down the straightaway. But it requires the driver to do everything right. He cannot overdrive it getting in the corner and use those brakes up, because if he uses the brakes up, then he starts sliding the front tires through the middle corner, and when you slide the front tires right here through the middle corner, you are not going to get good forward bite to go down the straightaway and use that horsepower. You got to get it right at Martinsville.
A lap goes by in a hurry, and also on top of all that, you got to keep your cool as well.
Exactly. It's very easy to lose your temper at Martinsville.
Well, Johnny Sauter is one driver who knows what it takes to win here at Martinsville, having won in 2011 and 2013. He is standing by with Vince Welch.
That's right, Johnny Sauter, a 2-time winner here, does know what it takes to take it to victory lane. What is it? What do you need from your truck to get there today?
Well, I mean, you need everything you need everywhere else. It's got to handle, you know, it's got to be, you got to be able to drive in the corner, it's got to be able to rotate the center, and you got to have traction. So, and a lot of other things. I mean, there's a little bit of luck involved and the right pit strategy, making sure you got enough tire at the end. But our Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff with the orange on it, with the pumpkins on it today is really cool. My kids love the paint scheme, celebrating their peach flavored snuff. So we just got to be smart today. We're obviously starting in the middle of the field, and you know, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to do throughout the day, give and take, and you know, make sure you got the right pit strategy is the biggest thing. You know, and that's with the way the tires are wearing out. You know, we've only got 2 sets in the pits, 200 laps, so it's you're going to have to give up a little bit early on to make sure you got something at the end.
Okay, keep an eye on the 98. Johnny Sauter, 2-time winner here at Martinsville, starts 17th today.
Vince, thank you very much. Let's take a look at the championship standings. 4 to go this time by. Eric Jones has an 18-point lead over Tyler Reddick.
This is probably one of the most fun points races we've watched in a long time in a truck series. These 3 guys, they've all been at the top, but they keep switching positions every week. This is going to be a fun time to watch.
And a lot of fun being had up at the racetrack this weekend. All kinds of stuff going on, especially at the hot dog stand. The very famous Martinsville hot dogs are there, and they tell us they have plenty for anybody who wants one, including driver Daniel Hemrick. We'll talk about him and the rest of the series is coming up next on the Truck Series Setup Show. You would think that Ray Dunlap would ask Ray Black Jr. how he learned to drive, but spend the day under the sea together, and the question is, how did you learn how to dive?
I was a little nervous at first, but, you know, my dad's a tough guy, so he kind of helped me out through it, and I learned in some murky water, and I think that's what made me a really good diver throughout my life.
How come Ray Dunlap gets to have all the fun? It's not fair. He gets all the great assignments. I want to go scuba diving. Quick look around Martinsville Speedway will tell you that it definitely is Halloween, and there's some spooky things going on around that very historic racetrack. This is the 07 truck of Ray Black Jr. It is decorated for Halloween as well this afternoon, and hopefully it won't be too scary a run here at Martinsville for Ray Black today. From on the racetrack to under the water, Ray Black Jr. is not your typical racer. He's a certified trained scuba diver, and growing up, he spent more time diving than driving. Ray Dunlap got a unique opportunity to talk to this Florida driver and have a little fun as well.
Good morning. Everybody excited about going diving?
Yeah. We're in the Florida Keys. It's Ray, and guess what? He's the driver, and today I'm the diver, man.
Right.
We're looking forward to a great day. What do you expect?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a good day. We're going to go diving at least 20, 30 feet, maybe even deeper, and hopefully see some sharks. I don't know. It'll be kind of cool.
Everyone who's diving has one fin for each foot. A mask. Brains are on.
Good to go.
All right, let's go dive.
I don't know any other person who has both the careers that you have of being a full-time diver and a full-time race car driver. Are there similarities between the two?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, you're by yourself in the water, and then same with the race car. I mean, you have a great team behind you. They help you out and anything like buddy checks, and then race cars, you got your guys changing your tires. So by yourself, you get to think a lot more, and it's all on you then. So it's the same in the water. You're responsible for your equipment, and you got to respect the water and the reefs and the ocean and the animals in it, and it's awesome.
So guys, Molasses Reef is a marine sanctuary, which means no taking, no touching, no tickling, no molesting of the other creatures other than the invasive species known as divers. Those are fair game. Usually there's a lot of current here and you don't get a chance to dive it. Today, no current, we're gonna run with this.
We are officially on a dive site. Yahoo!
Nice. Handball.
Tell me about the family business, because you started diving when you were about 9 and your dad's been doing this for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So what all do you guys do?
When he first started diving, he did it in the military, and then he got out, and he started it for school in '96. He's seen a lot of accidents in the business of diving, so he just wanted to make it safer. As long as you're safe, you'll enjoy yourself, and as long as you know that you know what to do in any situation, you know, there's nothing you can really need to worry about.
Fun time. It was a lot of fish, a lot of jellyfish at the end. I didn't see any sharks, though. I was looking forward to that, but it's okay. We'll get them next time, right?
Water around this world, it just takes up everything, right? So to be able to be inside of that and not just on land, it's pretty crazy, and you get an entirely different feeling, and there's so many more creatures down there that we haven't discovered yet. So it's kind of cool to be a part of that, and you definitely gotta enjoy the moment while you're there, because, you know, a good friend of mine told me you never know, you might be the last dive you ever have, so you gotta take it and run with it and have a great time and enjoy every minute of it.
All right, time to head back up. I would call that another really successful day of being under the water. This is a very good day.
You know, so many drivers talk about what they do to take themselves away from the racing, which is a grind for most of the year. But what a great thing to be able to do, to go under the water like that. And he takes it pretty seriously.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of guys like to go fishing. Some use golf as their hobby. But for me, scuba really is the most fun that you can have. It was very, very relaxing. And I really enjoyed my time with Ray. You know, in my logbook, Johnny, I probably have about 120 dives. Ray's logbook is over 2,000.
Wow.
So this guy has an incredible amount of experience, but he showed me some cool stuff. We had a great time on that wreck when we were down in the Florida Keys.
Where do you see him going as a driver?
You know, I think he's progressed really well. Bobby Daughter has a great team, but they have limited funding there. And for what I've seen, Ray has been able to maximize what that team has available to him. And Martinsville, probably his best track, so keep your eye on that 07 today.
Yeah, very nice report. Love to see that scenery from the Keys. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, the countdown continues to truck racing at Martinsville. It is the final short track shootout of the season. It is just moments away. And there's a driver you better keep your eye on making his debut. We'll tell you more about him when we come back. Welcome back to the setup on FS1. Ross Kenseth is set to make his NASCAR Camping World Truck Series debut in the number 18 truck, while 17-year-old Austin Cindric will be behind the wheel of the number 29 truck for his first NASCAR National Series start. Kenseth is the son of 2003 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion Matt Kenseth. He has made one NASCAR Series start before today, finishing 6th in the Xfinity race at Chicagoland Speedway in June, while Cindric has experience across various forms of motorsports. He has 4 wins this year in Global Rally Cross and 1 win in IMSA. Here's Hermie Sadler with Ross Kenseth.
Well, JR, a lot of eyes this weekend on Ross Kenseth and this team. I know this is your first start, but I know how competitive you are and how much experience you have. What will make you happy when this day is over to make you feel like you accomplished what you could do here today at Martinsville?
I think just having a clean day and keeping all the fenders on it. It's kind of a long race. We're going to start back here in 25th, so we got to be patient. And I think if we make it to that first pit stop on the lead lap and clean, I think we can have a good day. I felt like we worked hard on long runs, and Pat and Bobby did a great job at getting some forward drive in it, which I think is going to be really important today.
That's Ross Kansas making his first start. Let's go down pit road to Vince Welch, who has another first-time starter.
That's right, and that's Austin Cindric. He's in the 29 truck today. Now, the 29 won this race back in March with Joey Logano behind the wheel. And I'll tell you what, look, even Joey Logano's driver's suit is making an appearance. It's the same driver's suit, the same truck, even the same seat, but not the same driver. You're making your debut today. What's the goal for your first time in the Truck Series today?
I think to finish the race and just absorb as much information as I can. I think I don't really have any expectations, no pressure to go do well, so I just go have some fun and learn a lot.
Are you having fun?
I'm always having fun.
I love that smile. Austin Cindric making his Truck Series debut today. JR?
Vince, thank you very much. It is time now to play True or False with Todd and Ray. I have 5 questions that we're going to throw out to the gentlemen. You guys need to tell us if it is true or false statement. Here's question number 1. Both Ross Kenseth and Austin Cindric will finish in the top 20 today. Todd?
I say true. I think Ross has got a lot of short track experience, so I'm not really too worried about that. Austin, he doesn't have the experience, but he's with a good race team. I think they're both in the top 20.
I got to go false on this one, Todd. When I think about this is an awful tall order. These guys had to get in there and qualify. They got to try to finish in the top 20. This is a really tough field. I don't think both of them can get it done.
Okay, true or false? Will a driver besides Jones, Reddick, or Crafton win today?
I got to go with true. I think we've got a lot of great short trackers that, like I said earlier in the top of the show, they cut their teeth at short tracks like Martinsville. I think we're going to see a different winner today.
The winner today will come from the front row, Johnny, and none of those 3 guys are in the front row, so I'm going true.
Okay, let's now talk about Timothy Peters. Will he win again on his home track? True or false?
I don't know if he's going to win, but it's his best shot. This is absolutely his best racetrack. He loves being at home in Martinsville. I might have to lean towards true.
Well, I'm going to have to say false because Timothy Peters is not starting on the front row.
Okay, so Johnny Sauter will not win a race this season. True or false?
I'm going to go false. I think Johnny's really good. I don't think that lame duck thing is anything. They got a good race team up there at Thor Sport. Johnny's a great driver. I think he's got a good shot today. He didn't qualify well, but this is another one of his great racetracks.
I'm going to say false, too. I think Johnny Sauter will win, but I don't believe it's here at Martinsville. I think his best opportunity to win is our next race.
They're going to stay intact, but the positioning and order, that might be totally different because this is Martinsville, and you never know what's going to happen.
I say true. I believe that they will, but think about this. Last week, Matt Crafton was only 4 points out. Now he's 23 back. Martinsville, another one, just like Talladega, a big wild card.
Now, there is something particularly good when the trucks go to Martinsville. We've seen surprise winners. We've seen first-time winners. We sent more trucks home this time than we have all season long. We're set for a good event.
Absolutely, and I tell you, this front row, Johnny, to me, is the best chance to win. I really like Cameron Haley, and I think Cole Custer hasn't had much luck when he went to Martinsville, but today he'll get it done.
I agree with Ray. There's so many wild things that can happen at Martinsville. It is a wild card race. We got all these young kids that have short track experience, but it's going to be a heck of a race to watch.
Always is on the short track. We are closing in on going racing from Martinsville Speedway, 250 laps today. Adam Alexander, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip will have the call. Enjoy the race.
Folks, this week the green flag drops at the historic Martinsville Speedway here in Southern Virginia.
Long straightaways, really tight corners, and tempers are at a premium.
I don't got nothing to lose.
You've got to stay calm.
Whoa, trouble, contact further back. Oh, problems, John West Townley. Oh, Custer spins. Gonna be a great afternoon of racing here at Martinsville. Hello and happy Halloween from Martinsville, Virginia. Today it's round 20 for the Camping World Truck Series at Martinsville Speedway. Let's take a look at drivers to watch. How about the Virginia kid? Well, he's not really a kid. Timothy Peters is 35, but he does have a victory at his home track
It came in 2009, and he won last week at Talladega. He's 35. Our pole sitter, 17. Cole Custer got it done earlier today. He won from the pole a year ago at New Hampshire. And now those drivers in the championship battle with 4 races to go. We start with the 2-time defending champion, Matt Crafton. He has a victory here, but he qualified 13th. And right in front of him in the championship chase, young Tyler Reddick. He fought that truck in practice yesterday, but a great effort in qualifying. He starts outside row 2. And the man that everyone is chasing for the 2015 championship is Eric Jones. 2 wins this season. His best finish here, 3rd in the spring. He starts 8th today. Let's go trackside now for pre-race ceremonies at Martinsville.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as Magna Vista High School Junior ROTC presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Mike Hatfield from Chatham Heights Baptist Church offers our invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, you are the God of changes, of seasons changing, and we give you thanks for those seasons that are changing right now. Help us to realize the only one certainty that continues is you. So, Lord, today as we come together to celebrate life and racing, we thank you for the good gift of competition. So remind us to be humble in victory. Remind us to be passionate in our competition. But most of all, remind us, Lord, to be thankful for the land that we live in where we can enjoy this type of day, and for the people who ensure that freedom and liberty every day on our behalf. In the name of your Son, who taught us true liberty in our own freedom from ourself and our sin, we pray. Amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Martinsville High School Marching Band. It's a cool afternoon in Martinsville, but things getting ready to heat up. 200 laps for the Camping World Truck Series. The command to fire engines is next. Nice crowd on hand here at Martinsville, Virginia, as the Camping World Truck Series gets ready to race in the Commonwealth for the 48th time, matching Tennessee for the most of any state. Now our clipboard for today's 200-lap event. Keeping a cool head, that is always key on a short track, and the battle for space, because things are tight here at the Paperclip. So good to have you with us on a Saturday afternoon on FS1 with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons. I'm Adam Alexander. Keeping a cool head, easier said than done when you come to a place like Martinsville, right, Michael?
Should be simple, right? Nice fall day here in Southern Virginia, temperature in the 50s. Everybody's perfectly cool now. But when they throw the green flag, action's going to pick up. And you're going to feel like you've been wrong. You might get spun out. You might get run into. You might get run over. And that's where you got to make sure that you're not in a wreck like John West County, that you keep your head on your shoulders so you can battle all the way to the checker. Because when the checker falls, you can be standing in victory lane, or you can get the hammer dropped on you on pit road.
And the reason you have to do that is because you have to battle for space from the time they drop the green flag here. When we drop the green flag, everyone's going to be diving to the bottom. You want to be on the bottom of the racetrack at this racetrack. Let's go back to the spring here. We had a situation late in the race. Cole Custer does the bump and run on Matt Crafton, pushes him and Joey Logano out of the way to take the lead. But then Matt Crafton returns the favor. He gets on the Cole Custer, and around he goes. He ends up with a poor finish. How about late in the race on a restart? You battle for space. Joey Logano from third gets by both the front row trucks, goes on to victory for his first ever Truck Series win.
Adam, I love this. I love it.
I'm thinking about these drivers, though, running for a championship and their approach at a place like Martinsville.
You just totally have to be patient. You have to make sure that if you're going to push and shove, you do it late in the going, because if you do it in the middle of the race, somebody can retaliate, you lose all your track position, your day could be over.
And both Matt Crafton and Tyler Reddick like where they are. They're the chasers. They say all the pressure's on Eric Jones.
And one thing we know, when drivers get into one another on track, they do not forget. There will be payback, retaliation, a theme here today. Let's go trackside for the command to fire engines.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Pepsi Delivery Manager, Ricky Settle.
Drivers, start your engine!
We're going to go to the back.
Plenty of energy when you go short track racing. We are about to do it for the 5th time in 2015 for the Camping World Truck Series. Just about time to make it happen for the Camping World Truck Series here at Martinsville Speedway, Southern Virginia on FS1. Good to have you along for the ride. Now our Camping World track description and race analysis. Michael?
Well, the track description means tight. Bill talked about looking for space, battling for every inch you can get on the track. You go down the corners, only 12 degrees of banking, and I promise you, Bill, it feels like it's minus 12. These trucks want to turn over down in the center of the corner.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. 200 laps. That thing seems pretty docile, right? See the pit window, somewhere between 120, 130 laps, but all in the garage area, they're talking about we may stop once, we may stop twice. They're seeing a lot of tire wear, especially on the left rear. We may stop 3 times, so we don't know yet what the strategy is going to be to get to victory lane.
The last couple of times, guys have stopped with 120 laps to go and made it to victory lane, but Adam, the curveball got thrown at them yesterday. These Goodyear tires are wearing on the left side, so there's a lot of concern down in the garage area about what this track will do as we race forward.
At 33 races here for the trucks at Martinsville, 22 times the winner has started inside the top 5. We know qualifying a huge deal when it comes to this short track. Now we look at our onboard cameras. We start out with our 2-time defending champion.
Yeah, let's ride along with our championship contender. He's going to be starting 13th with a Toyota onboard. He was a winner here last spring. He needs to gain some points here on Eric Jones.
Well, Eric Jones is rolling off in P8. He's driving Kyle Busch's Motorsports Toyota Care Toyota. He's got a point lead. This is a very challenging track to keep a point lead at.
We're also going to ride along with Tyler Reddick in the Ford on board. He's carrying Brad Kay's Checkered Flag Foundation on the side of that truck. Tyler had a great qualifying effort. We'll start from the 4th spot, the best of our championship contenders.
How about I just take you to the penthouse? Let's go to the front row and get on board with Cole Custer. He's driving Dale Jr.'s truck, the Haas Automation Chevy, and we've got a great view from the bumper of this truck. Look at that. That's exactly what it feels like to be on the track.
Is that camera safe?
No.
Okay.
Nothing is safe out there.
It's just about time to go green here at the paperclip. Before we do that, one more thought on the championship from our pit reporters. We start out with Virginia's own Hermie Sadler. Good afternoon, Hermie.
Hello, Adam. The 19 of Tyler Reddick stayed in championship contention. In fact, moved up to 2nd in points by battling track position and coming home with a top 5 finish at Talladega last weekend. Now, practice yesterday was much of the same type of a battle outside of the top 10 for most of the practice session yesterday, but they qualify 4th. What did that enable them to do? Get a pretty good pit selection on pit road. Pit stall 40. You can see he is the first pit at pit entry. He gets a straight shot into his pit, straight shot out of the pit. That could pay dividends for the 19. Vince Welch.
Kyle Busch Motorsports has won multiple owners' championships here in the Truck Series, but never a driver's championship. 19-year-old Eric Jones is 4 races away from delivering that title. It's impossible to avoid the big picture and the prize that possibly awaits, but this Ford team has worked hard to zero in on 1 race at a time. Jones has posted back-to-back top 5s here in Martinsville, and if he can do that again today, he'll be another step closer to that coveted title. Caitlin Vincey?
Well, Vince, Matt Crafton has some making up to do in the points to Eric Jones. He told me the goal for him is to go out and win the next 4 races. He also told me he spent the last week in Sandusky, Ohio with his team, doing some team bonding, getting them pumped up for the coming weeks ahead. But as you would imagine a 2-time champion would be, Matt Crafton still very calm, collected despite the situation he is in, and also still very confident in that 88 truck they have here today at Martinsville, guys.
I said that Hermie Sadler is from Virginia, so is Caitlin Vincey. So, Caitlin, welcome home to you as well. Going to be fun to cover the next 4 races as one of these 3 drivers tries to win the 2015 title.
You know, I made the statement that if you didn't make the final round of qualifying, the top 12, then you could not win this race. Matt Crafton has really put the screws to me there, I think, a little bit, because he has one of the very best trucks here, along with his teammate, Johnny Sauter, who starts back in 17th. But we have to keep an eye on these 3 right here. This is going to be a great battle all the way to the end.
This is a wild card race. This is as crazy as Talladega. You can get turned around here and lose 20 spots late in the going, and it's so hard to pass here, you'll never get them back. So what a race this is going to be for that championship.
And Matt Crafton started 13th today. Here's the deal. He started 13th here in the spring, was leading at a green-white checker finish. He can get to the front.
Thank you guys for everything this weekend. Got a good truck. Have good pit stops all day. Keep track position and finish out strong.
Green flag in the air here at Martinsville.
Look at Cole Custer. What a jump he got on the start. Left Cameron Haley on the outside and grabs the lead on the start.
Remember, we talked about battling for position. You want to be on the inside here.
Cameron Haley working hard that outside lane, started second, and any time you start in the outside lane here, it can be an enormous challenge. Haley going to slide it in third in front of fellow rookie competitor Daniel Hemrick.
Hemrick cut him a break there. Haley wasn't quite clear, but we're only a couple laps into this, baby. You start trying to do those maneuvers late in the going, you'll get hit.
This is tight. On board with Tyler Reddick. Outside of him, Daniel Suarez. And right behind him, Tyler Young, who's been great all weekend.
Yeah, keep an eye on that pink curve. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. We saw Tyler Young just now get into that curve, and he'll shoot that truck up a little bit of contact there, Tyler Young and Reddick.
How early is too early to get physical and aggressive here at Martinsville?
Well, these truckers are young. They're aggressive. They know the races are short. You're going to see contact earlier today than you probably will tomorrow. You will see guys moving each other from the start.
The top 4 starters, all teenagers, guys.
Average age of the front 3 rows today at the start, 20. So we know there is a youth movement going on here at Martinsville.
I would keep an eye on this battle, Phil. We know that Reddick struggled yesterday, not being able to clear Daniel Suarez with the preferred groove and all the space, all the truck lengths he's losing to the battle for the front. That means that truck's not too good. He can't clear a truck on the outside.
Well, he qualified 4th, promptly dropped to 6th, and as you said, the hounds are getting hungry behind him.
Yeah, Suarez doing a great job hanging in there on the outside. If you're going to pass somebody on the outside, it better be pretty early, either on the restart or soon after that. Suarez is trying to make it happen right here.
Behind this group of 3, teammates nose to tail, the 11 of Ben Kennedy, and right behind him, the driver that was quick in both practice sessions yesterday, Timothy Peters in the 17. Meanwhile, we continue to watch this battle for the 6th position, and there goes Peters around.
Right in front of Matt Crafton.
Charles, just get it rolling if you can.
How early is too early, Adam?
6 laps is too early.
They were running back in the 10th position.
Does that have help right there?
That's David Gilliland. Not sure if those 2 incidents are related or not, but certainly Gilliland has been into something.
And that battle between Reddick and Suarez had the whole pack backed up. They weren't running very fast lap time side by side. Look at that, the group behind him. Timothy just goes around on the outside.
He just went in there dead even with Eric Jones. And what a job by Matt Crafton to avoid Timothy Peters.
I think the problems for Gilliland came when he checked up, didn't get stopped in time, and he had some contact there with Dalton Sargent. Under caution early here at Martinsville. An incident coming off of turn 4. Timothy Peters got turned around. He has been to pit road, so has David Gilliland.
Yeah, Timothy really just drove in the corner, just got a little bit loose on the outside of Eric Jones. An unbelievable job by Matt Crafton. Let's take a watch from Matt Crafton's onboard camera here. I don't know how he's going to stop here on a dime to miss Timothy Peters.
Look at that. He knows.
And he was already in the throttle.
Crafton knows that 17 truck of Peters could have just went straight to the inside wall, so he got on the brakes hard. Talk about patience and being calm. That's exactly what Matt Crafton was there, and it paid off.
Peters and Gilliland were running inside the top 10 or 12 when that happened. They will restart 29th and 30th, respectively. On the front row, Cole Custer, who has led every lap so far, and to his right, John Hunter Nemechek. Green flag goes back in the air as we complete lap 11.
Another solid restart by Cole Custer. Watch Cameron Haley, that 13 truck, try to nose in there underneath the 8 of Nemechek. Reddick was able to get down in front of Daniel Suarez to get to the inside.
Ray Goulding able to get to the inside of Daniel Hemrick.
Look at everybody fighting for the inside of the racetrack.
Tyler Young, odd man out up there inside the top 6 or 7 in that outside lane.
Tyler has a great race truck right here, but he's got the 19 of Tyler Reddick right behind him, Hermie.
Feel Tyler Reddick did a much better job on this restart, being more aggressive, getting to the bottom of the racetrack. He and his crew chief, Doug Randolph, talked on the initial restart. You cannot let them keep you up on the high side. You lose too much track position.
One guy that's losing track position is our point leader, Eric Jones. Started this race in 8th position up on the outside. Phil, he's fallen all the way outside of the top 10. Just couldn't get a break, couldn't get down, and he's falling back.
What's the story on his teammate, the 51 of Daniel Suarez, Vince?
Well, it's just too tight through the center right now for Daniel Suarez, just chattering the tires on the brakes. They said, just let us see what it does. Let us see if it can come to us here, but not the way he wants it for the long run. That's for sure right now for the 51 of Suarez.
Right now he finds himself 8th in the running order. Tyler Young to his outside, and right behind him, Ben Kennedy, who's been solid in the early going. And then there's Matt Crafton, Michael.
Phil, I don't think you want a truck that's perfect right now. These tires, the air pressures are going to come up. They're going to lose grip. That could play right into his hands. You can see Matt Crafton making his way to the inside of Tyler Young. This truck is as fast as we thought it would be when they threw the green flag.
They're going to burn some fuel out of it. It's going to gain some front percentage.
Nice effort by Matt Crafton early. Started 13th, has worked his way inside the top 10 despite that near miss on our first caution. And here's Eric Jones around Tyler Young for a spot. Put Jones back inside the top 10 after an early slide in the wrong direction. And right behind them, the 29 of Austin Cindric. Had never been in a truck prior to practice yesterday. This kid driving for Brad Keselowski's been impressive.
Talked to his crew chief, Chad Kendrick, and he said, I've been so impressed with Austin Cindric. Really a lot better than we even imagined. We had no idea what to guess he would do, but here comes Timothy Peters making his way back up through the field here.
29th to 24th since the restart, Michael.
He slides down on the inside of Ross Kenseth, but he tries to get the gas down. That thing is loose off the corner. That caused him to spin the first time, and that also didn't allow him to complete that pass on Kenseth. He since, Hermie, made that pass. Is that thing loose? Is that what he's reporting?
He's been fast, but he's been loose all weekend, especially right in the center of the corner. It's magnified by the fact that he's in traffic. They came down pit road, put 4 tires. They actually glued the other 4 tires they took off back up in case they need them later tonight. But he's got a fast truck, but very, very difficult to manipulate traffic here at Martinsville. It's going to get worse as he gets closer to the front.
Teams get 4 sets of tires for the race, including the ones you started the event on. Typically, you wouldn't need all of them, but an early spin could change the game for Timothy Peters. Cole Custer is your leader. If you're playing baseball in October, it's a good thing. That's the case for the Royals and Mets, both vying for their first world championship in more than 30 years. Royals lead the Mets 2-1, Game 4 of their best-of-7 series in the Big Apple tonight. Our coverage on Fox begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Mets got back in this thing with a little home field, huh?
Big win last night.
Lead changes galore early in that game. A lot of action.
No lead changes here. 27 of 200 complete. It's been all about Cole Custer, who started on the pole, and this 17-year-old, no stranger to success in the Camping World Truck Series, and his talent on full display here again this afternoon.
Every time he gets in this truck, he's a factor. He always runs up front. He's very impressive at a young age. These kids they're teenagers, and they're bringing the competition to their knees. I remember when the truck series first started, it was a bunch of retired cup guys or older racers that were so dominant, and now it's the kids that are taking over.
Cole drives for Dale Jr., and Vince, I would say somewhere NASCAR's most popular driver is smiling proudly.
Yeah, you got to be pleased with the way Cole Custer is running it so far. Remember, he had a terrific run here in the spring as well, challenged for the win until the late stages of that race. Right now, trying to keep in mind the big picture as he leads this race every lap so far.
You don't want to go any harder than this. You already got 7 on him. Remember Bristol now. Save it for the back end of the run. I'll let you know if he gets any closer.
Constantly in traffic here, even when you're in the front, as you see him coming up on the 63 of Bobby Pierce. You've constantly got to negotiate the traffic, never out of danger, even if you're the leader of every lap.
You know, a couple of truck length advantage over the truck behind you really allows you to take care of your race vehicle. You see them slamming on the brakes. You can overuse those brakes. Oh, we got a spinner, Brandon Hightower, up in turn 4.
Brandon Hightower, a lot of assistance from Mike Wallace in his career. It's turned around in the corner, and we're under caution for the second time today. Under caution for the second time today here at Martinsville. A spin in turn 4 for Brandon Hightower. 36 laps complete. We were a bit surprised that the leaders came down the pit lane. We'll tell you what happened on pit road in a moment. First, the reason we're under caution.
Just on the outside, just got a little bit loose, just like Timothy Peters early on. Didn't have much grip out there.
You can see Bobby Pierce in the 63 just ahead of him in that first replay. Got sideways as well. That outer groove is treacherous here at Martinsville.
Hightower able to drive away. Top 3 drivers on track elected not to pit. Greg Gaulding, Johnny Sauter, and Ross Kenseth.
Bill, we talked about maybe would they pit or not, and I was surprised all those trucks did it.
Pretty early on and had some caution laps figured in there, too.
All of our championship contenders did come down the pit lane. Hermie, what's up with the 19?
Well, Adam, Doug Randolph was surprised that the leaders came. He told his driver, Tyler Reddick, only come if the leaders come, but I don't think they will. But they came down pit road. They took 4 tires with no adjustments for the 19. Caitlin.
Well, the 88 of Matt Crafton, the biggest feedback he gave was that left front tire was rubbing, so they came down pit road, did a 4-tire stop, but overall he's pretty happy with that. 88 truck, says he's just riding right now. Also a fast stop for them. They've got 2 guys from the 88 Sprint Cup team of Dale Jr. pitting this truck. Vince.
And the 4 of Eric Jones came into this race today with an 18-point lead in the championship. Doesn't like the balance of his truck right now. Says it fires off tight, and then 5 laps later, it's wrecking loose. They made a 4-tire change, air pressure adjustment, also a chassis adjustment, trying to give him a better balance, something more he can work with.
Good news, though, for Eric Jones on this restart. He is going to be in front of Matt Crafton and just behind Tyler Reddick. It's nice when you're not having the best day as the championship leader, but still right where you need to be in regard to those guys you're trying to beat for the title.
Well, he could certainly keep them in mind there. He's got one of them in front of him, one of them behind him, so he doesn't have to look far to find those guys.
You know, that's a tough truck to fix, though, Phil. If it's tight for a bit of the run and then it goes to loose, how does a crew chief work on that? Got to pick which one's worse, I guess, or maybe an air pressure adjustment.
I think you got to fix the loose after 5 laps and hope you get a little bit longer run, not a bunch of short runs at the end of the race.
Bobby Pierce got the free pass on this, our second caution of the afternoon. There was a penalty for John West Townley. The 05 had an uncontrolled tire, so he will drop to the rear on the restart. Our race leader is going to be Greg Gaulding. Johnny Sauter will restart second. Ross Kenseth restarts third. Those 3 drivers, as we said, did not pit under this caution. Cole Custer was the race leader. When the yellow flag went in the air, he was the first on and off the pit lane. He restarts in the 4th position.
Talking to Rudy Fugel, crew chief for Eric Jones in the garage here this morning. I said, who's the main competition? One of the trucks he mentioned was the 98 of Johnny Sauter. Johnny only qualified 17th, but Rudy said he has one of the very best trucks on the long run here. We'll see what happens on this restart. See if Johnny can get by the 54 of Greg Galding and put some distance on the rest of these guys.
We talked about our pit reporters being from this area. What about Greg Galding? He's grabbed the lead here at Martinsville, Virginia. This is a track that means so much to him. He's got the Krispy Kreme Toyota out in front. I know the CEO of Krispy Kreme, Tony Thompson's down in the garage area watching this race. It's great to have such great corporate partners a part of the Truck Series, and Gray's doing them proud right now.
A lot of experience at this track for Greg Galding, despite the fact that he's a teenager. Get the green flag as we complete lap 40 at Martinsville. Ross Kenseth a little slow to get going. How about that move for Cole Custer diving to that inside lane?
You got to take advantage of the opportunity when you get it. You battle for space. When you have a little bit of space, you take it. Cole Custer did it. He's going for a second on Sauter.
Not what Johnny Sauter wanted to see. The fastest man in Virginia underneath of him. Custer slides up in front of Sauter. He's now in the second position.
Sauter's able to get down to the inside in front of Ross Kenseth. Cameron Haley, who was second place early on before the pit stops, on the outside of Kenseth.
You know, if you're Greg Galding, you're Johnny Sauter, you don't want to be Ross Kenseth. He's the last guy that didn't come to pit road. So he's going to be a roadblock back there, hopefully, for those guys. You can see Haley's going to make the pass on the outside. Those tires are prevailing over the older ones. Look at Cole Custer really close in on Galding.
That's a great view from this bumper cam here in the 00 truck. Just wants to try to inch his way to the inside. Try to get to that throttle just a little bit. He's going to outbrake him down into turn number 1 here.
Battle for the lead at Martinsville. Didn't last long. Cole Custer inside. Going to try to complete the pass into 3. He does it. Custer back on point.
How'd you like that view? We were right down on the track with Cole Custer when he dove inside of Galding and took the lead.
This is a great situation for Custer, right? Because not only does he have the lead again, fastest truck, but he's got that buffer between him and the other drivers who pitted with a couple of trucks that did not come down pit road, and Galding and Sauter.
A couple of fast trucks as well, as we see Suarez drive to the inside of Kenseth in the 18. Matt Crafton has already made the pass on the 18 of Kenseth.
See, that's the tough break for Ross Kenseth, the last guy on the used tires, and he's really getting eaten up. Watch this move that Suarez makes. He knows Kenseth is slow, tries to dive to the inside. Whoa!
That's your teammate and the championship leader.
Yeah, but I needed that space, though. I needed to be on the inside here.
Somewhere Kyle Busch is cringing right now, isn't he?
Easy.
Now, that's just a move a race car driver makes. He knew that he needed to get to the inside of the slipping Kenseth truck, so Suarez just ducked to the bottom. He wasn't waiting for a spotter to clear him. He knew he had to get that spot, and it nearly cost him.
Teammates, youth versus experience. The rookie Cameron Haley goes inside of Johnny Sauter, makes the pass, and well, he's bringing John Hunter Nemechek with him, and next in line, you're on board with Tyler Reddick.
I think this gives these guys a pretty good indication of what tires are going to be worth after about 30 green flag laps.
I'd say that makes this a 3-stop race. What do you think,
Quite
Phil?
possibly, absolutely. Unless this racetrack all of a sudden takes a bunch of rubber here in the next 100 laps or so.
And some of that could be dictated, too, by when the caution
certainly. Absolutely. You have to have a strategy, and you have to have a plan, but you have to also be fluid and be able to change and adapt.
Well, and you can see Johnny Sauter's been able to stabilize in front of Reddick. There goes Haley around Galding. So the 3 trucks that didn't pit, 2 of them are hanging in there pretty good. You can see Sauter's going to lose that spot now behind Galding.
Just about got into the wall coming off of turn 2. Opened the door for Tyler Reddick, and right behind him, teammate Matt Crafton going to make the pass.
There's Suarez as well. The 18 Aris Toyota going to move by Johnny Sauter. You know, I think right now Johnny Sauter would have loved to have stayed up in the top 7-8 positions on a long run when the tires settled out, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. He's going to go back beyond that.
But because they didn't have a great qualifying effort, maybe still a little too early to say this plan didn't work. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, when you start near the back, you got to do something different than what the leaders do, Phil. You can't just mimic them all day long or you'll be behind them. He switched it up. I think it's a decent call. We'll see if he can stabilize somewhere around 10th, 12th, 15th, and then maybe catch a break with the caution falling at the right time for his team.
Saw that 33 real quick there. It's Brandon Jones. running inside the top 10 after starting deeper in the field earlier today.
All right, roll when you can.
We told you in the open of our broadcast today, things could and likely would get physical at Martinsville. We've got our third caution. Paige Decker with a little contact went around over in turn 3.
It's pretty tough to run around here side by side. We've witnessed that, but one thing you really can't do much here is run 3 wide, and watch this right here.
We've certainly seen it tried a lot. Paige Decker minding her own business up on the outside, and a couple of them tried to crowd in underneath of her and spins Paige around.
Really hurt Greg Galding, who was running 10th.
Well, he had to pit, and I think it's an interesting point of the race, Phil. I mean, we don't have enough tires just to pit every 30 laps, and I don't think I've ever seen at Martinsville on the Truck Series tires be so important. Those guys were falling back on those used tires.
Yeah, we know the 54 is going to come to pit road. Greg Galding, there's another view of this. Spencer Gallagher dove to the inside. Gray had already committed to the bottom of the 74. It's Paige, I don't realized that there were 2 trucks inside of her.
Great effort there by all of our cameramen and women who do such an extraordinary job showing you the pictures and a good shot of what happened over in turns 3 and 4.
We talk about that curve, that pink little docile curve there playing a role. Watch Spencer Gallagher drive to the inside of 98 of Johnny Sauter. Watch him get that left front into the curb, runs up the hill. Johnny realizes that, gives him some extra room, so he averts disaster there, but I don't think this caution could come soon enough for Johnny Sauter.
And that hacks you off there. Johnny Sauter gave Spencer Gallagher the bottom lane. He rolled in on the high side, and he still gets run over. We talked about how you can't hide anywhere at Martinsville. That's a great example of it.
Well, you said it, Michael. Greg Galding was going to have to pit. He didn't come down earlier, so they will do it here. And Johnny Sauter coming to pit road as well, Vince.
Much too free. They had to tighten it up. Going to add a spring rubber, a couple of rounds of wedge, 4 tires. Johnny stayed out. That was a strategy call. If they got a yellow at around lap 35 or later or earlier, they were going to stay out. So they did, but boy, they needed that yellow for sure. Caitlin?
Well, Greg Galding was having such a strong day. He told me that was one of the best trucks he's had all season long. Very frustrated with the incident that just happened on track. Said he had a left front tire go down. They had to bring him down on pit road for 4 tires and fuel.
Cole Custer will be the race leader when we go back to green. Back at Martinsville, green flag going in the air once again. Cole Custer, Cameron Haley, couple of teenagers on the front row.
Wow, this looks like a mess for the back of the field. They were 3 wide.
And we just found out that does not typically work here.
How about Matt Crafton has made his way all the way up to the 4th spot after starting back in the 13th spot. Got a good side-by-side battle for second. John Hunter Nemechek trying to take over second from Cameron Haley.
Wow, Haley's got a solid truck. He's been able to maintain right up in the front, but he's lost that inside groove, and Matt Crafton's going to try to take advantage of it.
Matt Crafton said, I know you're my teammate, but I'm trying to win my 3rd consecutive championship, so I'm going to drive inside and try and make the pass for 3rd.
I'm really going to need that spot, Cameron. I hope you understand.
And I appreciate the effort. You have a great truck. Just falling behind me here, and let's make our way towards the front.
When Crafton started 13th here in the spring, he first led a lap at lap 111. May not take him that long today. We're 70 laps in. He's gone from 13th to 3rd, and he did that when he was nearly involved in an accident. Good battle here. Hemrick in that green and orange machine. Right behind him, Daniel Suarez. And on the move in the red, white, and blue 33 is Atlanta's Brandon Jones.
Saw some damage to the front end of the 14 of Daniel Hemrick. He's obviously got into the back of somebody. There he is, bottom of your screen.
What about Timothy Peters? We talked about Crafton starting outside the top 12, and he's already making his way inside the top 3. Timothy Peters went all the way to the back after that spin, and now he's climbed to the front.
He started 29th at lap 11, and there goes Daniel Suarez, punted out of the groove. No caution yet. There it is, 4th of the day.
Contact from his teammate, Eric Jones.
Jones caught the curb, I think, Phil. I believe that pink docile curb you spoke of reached up and bit another one.
Watch Eric Jones on the inside in that 4 truck.
Well, it looked like maybe Suarez was going to try to swing to the bottom, didn't it?
Just battle for space a little bit there.
This is a big break for Gray Galding, I think. I believe he will get the free pass and back on the lead lap. He got lapped on pit road during our last caution when he stopped up in the corner to miss Paige Decker and was lapped, but now he'll be back on the lead lap. Let's see if Suarez pinches him down or if Jones hits the curb.
One back to Timothy.
I believe he left him room.
I think
down.
I don't think he hit the curb either. I just think he maybe got in the corner a little too hot.
Second time since the restart, we've seen a championship contender have to drive inside of their teammate for position. And you guys know this far better than I. When opportunity knocks at a place like Martinsville, you got to go get it.
Got to do it.
Cole Custer leads this race. He's led 65 of our 74 laps so far today at Martinsville. Today, all about the Camping World Truck Series. Tomorrow, the opening race in the Eliminator round of the chase for Sprint Cup teams. NASCAR Race Day. Get you covered 9 a.m. Eastern Time here on FS1. A full recap of 500 laps at Martinsville on NASCAR Victory Lane. It happens at 6:30 tomorrow evening.
I know 8 guys that want to survive this race tomorrow here at Martinsville.
There may be some feeling like that tomorrow. This race is over. Under caution for the 4th time today. Teammates getting together in turn 3.
You're right, Phil. No contact with the curb. It just looked like Eric Jones decided he was going to dive in the corner, and two guys arguing over space that we talked about earlier, Vince, and it was a classic case of a Martinsville spin.
Well, sometimes it's a delicate line when you're a teammate racing another teammate and then also trying to protect your position in the championship for Eric Jones.
Sorry, I was done with it. I'm not doing that. I'm not racing a teammate like that, but you pinch me for that long and run me that hard.
Jones feels like maybe he's got a little bit of right front fender damage as far as the 51 is concerned. Daniel Suarez says he feels no vibration at all. No worse for the wear, Adam.
Suarez was running 8th when he got involved in that incident. Right now being scored in the 23rd position. And we should pay off. Michael said this, but just reminding you, Gray Galding, first truck 1 lap down. He gets the free pass. Will restart 27th. They have added a lap on the restart. And Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek, going to restart on the front row. NASCAR warned them about maintaining pace on the restart. We'll watch them when they get in the restart zone, which is the area highlighted in green on the wall.
See the 00. Cole Custer, it looked like once he got to that zone, he actually slowed down a little bit, and that really bunched the field up behind him.
Yeah, we talked about him being 3 wide back there. That's what caused the caution that was out anyway, was an attempt to go 3 wide into the corner, and a really congested start back through the field. Whatever that front row does, Phil, it dictates how smoothly the rest of the field takes off.
It may be 10 rows back before somebody pays the price if something happens up on the front row.
Cole Custer is 17. John Hunter Nemechek just turned 18 back in June, and already a wealth of experience. Both of them have been to victory lane.
What happened to experience? You got to be experienced. You have to have a lot of laps under your belt here at Martinsville to be good. Well, these kids, they didn't subscribe to that theory.
I really want to see what happens with Matt Crafton. He's going to restart in the 3rd spot inside 2nd row. I feel like he'll be able to use that inside spot to get by John Hunter Nemechek up to 2nd. Then we'll see how strong that 88 is compared to the 00.
Timothy Peters has climbed back inside the top 10 after that spin earlier. What a recovery, Hermie. What are they saying in the 17th pit?
He came down pit road, lowered the track bar, put the 4 tires back on that he had on in the first few laps of the race that he spun. But the issue, they wanted the 17 to get to the high side on the restart, and he would not move to the high side. So that's why we ran 2 extra caution laps to get Timothy Peters in the right restart position.
So he's going to restart 8th, as you said, Hermie, in that outside lane to his inside, the 33 of Brandon Jones. The 6 trucks in front of him, we talked about Custer and Nemechek on the front row. Row 2, teammates, Matt Crafton, Cameron Haley. Then it's Daniel Hemrick and Tyler Reddick. Crafton needs to get the lead here, if nothing else, to gain another point. Get a point for every lap you lead in any NASCAR event.
That 00 has been so strong since the drop of the green flag here. Let's watch Crafton see if he can get that 2nd spot.
He is all over Cole Custer down in the corner. John Hunter's hanging tough on the outside, though. What a run for John Hunter.
Crafton's going to be patient. He says, go ahead. You guys get this figured out among yourselves. I'm just going to stay on the bottom here.
But this is as strong as we have seen anybody in that outside lane. John Hunter, Nemechek not going away.
Remember, if you're going to make it happen on the outside, you better do it on the restart or right after the restart. The more corners we run, the harder it's going to be. But looks like John Hunter did a great move. He had a little bit of a gap. He jumped down in front of the 88.
I think the spotter probably recommended he make that move. What's wrong with Peters? Off the pace, off turn 4.
Second time he's had an issue today. Spun early, and now off the pace after restarting inside the top 10. Contact there with a 5, and around goes Peters for the second time today.
Get it fired up if you can.
Dalton Sargent had nowhere to go.
What a day it's been for Timothy Peters.
Running up both.
Was that a
sounds like ignition? We just heard Marcus Richmond said, is it still running? How many volts do you have?
What's the story there, Herm?
He hit the kill switch on the stern wheel. All these trucks have a switch that the driver can hit to kill the engine in the event of a pump throttle or something like that. Driver mistake, Timothy Peters hit the kill switch. He's back under power.
All right, we spun out once and got back to the top 10. We've hit the kill switch, got spun out again. Could be his day. He might really come back and win this thing.
He's running out of time, Michael. We only have 115 laps to go. That's when it happened right there. And it's amazing that Brandon Jones at 33 was able to avoid him along with everybody else. Obviously, we got down to the corner here. Dalton Sargent had nowhere to go. Timothy was in the middle lane, then turned down to the inside without power.
Timothy got his tires from his first spin on the last pit stop. So these are the tires he started the race on that he's spinning around on now.
Do you pit here? Pit road is open. Do you pit here and be done with it? 1:15 to go, or is it too early?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any evidence that strategy would work, Adam.
Okay. We saw when those 3 trucks stayed out on the lap 30 caution, the lap 32 caution, whatever it was, and they went straight backwards. So I don't think so. I think I want my last set now with about 50 laps to go.
Austin Cindric making his debut today for Brad Keselowski, and that 29 comes on to pit road.
I'm sure Peters will come to pit road and see about here comes 29. Caitlin, what are they saying?
Well, Austin Cindric told me before the race, really, he's just trying to get as much experience as possible. He's been leaning on Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano a lot for some insight on racing these trucks. But the biggest feedback he's given so far is a tight condition. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for the 29 of Austin Cindric.
Remember, this is not something that he normally does either. Makes pit stops like this. Pretty much a flawless race so far. Flawless weekend for Austin Cindric.
Driving the same truck that Joey Logano drove to victory lane here in March. And, oh, by the way, he's wearing Joey's fire suit, too.
Yeah, we walked by him earlier. He was down in the pit area during the cup practice. Back of his suit says, at Joey Logano.
Timothy Peters, Spencer Gallagher also come to pit road here. They will stay on the lead lap. Watch the 33 doing battle with Timothy Peters here.
Yeah, Timothy had some space to the inside. He had about a half a truck length. He said, I better take it now. I don't think Brandon Jones was real happy about that.
And then Brandon was the unfortunate guy right behind Peters when his kill switch was activated. He did a great job of swinging to the outside of Timothy. This 17 truck, though, guys, it's really, really fast. Watch for him to battle his way back up through the field. He's got fresh tires now, and most of our leaders don't.
What about the guy out front, Vince? Cole Custer?
Not a problem in the world. They are really happy with the way their truck is handling and the way they have the speed they feel like is enough that can continue to lead this race, encouraging him to take care of the tires or to make sure that they have something to work with at the end. Keep those tires under for the entire duration of that long run before they make that final stop. Caitlin?
Well, John Hunter Nemechek started in the 3rd position. He's had a good race all race long so far, now moved up into 2nd. The biggest feedback he's given is it's a little bit snug, and his crew chief has reminded him to save fuel.
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek pitted on lap number 36. That's not out of character to be able to go the rest of the way here, but I'm not sure the tires are going to last that long.
Tell you what, though, every caution you have helps you in regard to fuel mileage. Cole Custer, fastest truck today, has led 80 laps.
He had quite a tussle with John Hunter Nemechek on that last restart. Better break for Custer there.
Inside lane at Martinsville, such an advantage. Crafton settles in line in third. Hemrick there in fourth. Brandon Jones up to fifth. And Eric Jones, our championship leader, trapped in the outside lane on this restart.
Yeah, we saw the restart before this with Timothy Peters. They wanted him to be on the outside. He didn't want to be, and I don't blame him. Nobody wants to be on the outside here.
Look at Tyler Young in the mix in the top 10. Austin Hill in the 82 having a great run today as Eric Jones slides down in front of Ben Kennedy and in behind Tyler Young, who's in the top 10 again.
Yeah, Austin Hill hung to the outside. Now looks like John West Townley, that yellow truck, going to stick his nose up in there. He's able to make the pass.
And you see
on the 82,
the 80 or 98 truck of Sauter, his tires are a bit fresher than most of the trucks ahead of him. He's making his way back toward the front. This truck was really fast in the long run during practice yesterday. So now that he's got those tires and an adjustment, Sauter could be the man.
He's the first driver in line, Michael, that pitted at lap 63. As you said, everyone in front of him coming in at lap 36 under that earlier caution. Keep an eye on the driver that won here on two different occasions, Johnny Sauter.
What about those crazy dives these guys have to make? That just tells you how precious real estate is here at Martinsville. If you see a hole to the inside, you got to jump in it.
Mentioned earlier, John West Townley running up in the 11th position. Good effort for him, having to come from behind. They were penalized on pit road earlier. They have driven back to the front quite nicely.
Yeah, he started 26th at them, and we've seen all the craziness that's going on. John West has kept his nose clean and got his truck near the front.
Peter's trying to get back in the top 20.
Yeah, just outside the top 21 or top 20 right now. Daniel Suarez, the 51 truck, who had an awfully good truck early on till that contact with his teammate Eric Jones. He's back there right now in the 20th spot.
Problems on two different occasions today for Timothy Peters. Restarted 29th at lap 11, drove back to the top 10, tried to do it again. As you watch teammates from ThorSport, they are third and fourth on track. That's Matt Crafton in the yellow 88, and that black and pink 13 is Cameron Haley.
Put it up, Brandon Jones. What an impressive racer he is. He makes the move around Daniel Hemrick, and that truck is really solid. That tells you how good the 33 truck is.
On board with guy who came in second in the championship, Tyler Reddick. Not great in practice yesterday, qualified fourth, riding right now in the 7th position, doing what he needs to do to stay in championship contention.
You know, I think he's a lot like what Michael talks about Daniel Suarez a lot. Maybe not real fast the first practice as we see him move to the inside of Hemrick to take over that 6th spot, but it gets better and faster and really peaks in the race, and that's when it's most important.
Remember how aggressively Crafton took that spot away from Haley earlier? Now Haley's all over the back of Matt Crafton, so there's battles all over this track.
Peter's not messing around. And I can imagine his level of frustration being taken out on his fellow competitors. The bump and run on the 51 of Daniel Suarez. Peters now in the 20th position. Good battle here for third. Cameron Haley able to get around Matt Crafton, and Brandon Jones waiting in line. We're halfway in the Kroger 200. Cole Custer, your race leader. He led 90 of the first 100 laps here today.
I tell you, really impressed, Michael, as we were talking about with Brandon Jones and that 33 truck for GMS Racing. Strong truck here. Let's take a look back at how Cameron Haley was able to get by Matt Crafton. As you mentioned, Michael, really late turn in for these guys, trying to outbrake them. It's really hard for the spotter to realize that's happening before it happens.
You almost have to see it coming before it ever happens, or it's too late.
Well, I think we answered the question how that 88 of Matt Crafton stacked up against the 00 Cole Custer doesn't look to have as good a truck right now.
And I'm surprised. I thought of that last restart. When he restarted third, he would easily get second by being on the inside lane in just a matter of time before we'd see him out front. That's not the case. and actually he's gone in the opposite direction after about 10 laps under green.
Johnny Sauter on those fresher tires diving to the inside of Townley. He's got a couple of trucks behind him that have good tires on too. Ross Kent is doing a great job of running up through the field. And then Gray Galding, who was a lap down, he's got better tires. Golly, this is quite the battle.
Now, those are the three drivers that stayed out at lap 36 trying to maintain track position. It didn't work out at the time, but as you said, Michael, came down at lap 63, and all three of those guys rallying to the front. Townley sideways into turn one.
Yeah, there was contact with Matt Kenseth. Ross Kenseth, was beating on John West Townley, moved him out of the way. John West did a nice job saving that truck.
Yeah, he didn't have any space there to be trying to take the low groove. Almost cost him a truck.
Gilliland's doing a great job, too, of battling back after being caught in that accident in the first 10 laps. Peters looking inside of the 32 of J.J. Haley.
Can Peters win this race, Phil?
He's going to have to do something different. I think Marcus Richmond said we're going to have to do some different strategy here. He may be done here. Timothy Peters pitted on lap 87. He may not have to come back to pit road. Great battle for the lead, though.
John Hunter Nemechek turned 18 in June, making him eligible to run full-time at any track that we go to. Got his first win at Chicago. He had been in the top 5 3 consecutive races prior to last week, and here he is showing his strength again around Cole Custer. Put that 8 truck on point at Martinsville.
All right, what a move by John Hunter Nemechek to grab the lead. That's the first time anybody's been out in front of the 00 of Cole Custer. And look at Nemechek, he's driving away.
It really looks like Cole Custer's truck has fallen off some here. He's got about 70 laps on those tires. Maybe we found the limit.
Well, but you heard him say to him on the radio earlier in the race, manage your truck. It's a long day here at Martinsville. And when things get long, the drivers get anxious. And sometimes their patience at flat runs out. Sun peeking through the clouds here in Martinsville, Virginia. Gorgeous afternoon as we do battle for the 20th time in 2015 for the Camping World Truck Series. We've crossed halfway. 84 laps to go in the Kroger 200. That kid is out front. John Hunter Nemechek, 18 years old, looking for his second career victory. And he has led 11 laps today, and he's just in front of Cole Custer, who started on pole and led 96 laps. The rest of the top 5, Cameron Haley, Matt Crafton, and Brandon Jones.
Yeah, and heavy traffic for our leaders right now. John Hunter Nemechek, obviously the first one to get to them. But, a little bit of contact right there with Cole Custer and Travis Quapple. But it's going to be heavy traffic from here on out till the next caution flag comes out.
Cameron Haley has caught Cole Custer to be a part of this battle for the lead. Haley's got a really solid truck on the long run. Last few laps, he's been faster than our leader. Phil, these truckers, some of the guys up front want the caution now, but if you're Timothy Peters, maybe Gray Galding, Johnny Sauter, if this thing runs out till the end, they'll be happy, and they'll also be happy if it goes to about lap 150, because I believe they're going to take advantage of the new of these tires and be right up in the top 5 by then.
And if we go green, and I don't think it's possible that we could go green to the end, these guys that pitted on lap number 36, like John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer, Cameron Haley, I'm not sure they can make enough fuel that far, even though we've had some caution laps. I hear some tires squealing there.
Down here in turn 1 and 2. That's the 32 of J.J. Haley. 5th time, make it 6 now. 6 cautions on the day.
You heard him. No brakes.
That's something you see quite often here in Martinsville.
It's amazing, though, whether you have to manage your brakes from the very start of the race. We don't talk about them a lot because the brakes have improved so much, but you have to have them. You have to get a lot of cooling to them, and you have to be able to maintain these brakes till the end.
He's only 16 years old.
Wow. And that shows you how fast you go in that corner when you don't have any brakes to stop you.
Happened right in front of John Hunter Nemechek, our race leader.
No banking to catch you. They call it 12 degrees. It always seemed like it was negatively banked to me.
Hard into the outside wall that truck went, and you know, we see these guys really abusing their brakes, stomping on them hard. Our leader is just slamming the nose to the ground. You feel like the brakes are almost bulletproof, but something went wrong there with the 32 truck.
Free pass this time goes to the 07 of Ray Black Jr. That will mean 26 trucks on the lead lap, and that's pretty significant when you start thinking about strategy, because anybody wanting to play the game and come down late, really not an option with that many trucks on the lead lap.
I think everybody comes to pit road right here. Peters has made his way all the way back up to the 9th position after going to the back twice. So obviously the 17 truck's fast. Just a normal pit stop here.
Yeah, pit road's still closed right now. It's going to be at least another lap before they open it. I think we have to come here.
I do too.
We saw what happened to trucks that had 30 laps on their tires. And right now it's been a number of laps since our last caution flag. I don't think there's any way you can stay out on those old tires.
You mentioned Timothy Peters, and he's rallied back nice on a couple of different occasions today, but Gray Galding got that free pass after being involved in an incident, and here he is inside the top 10. On board with...
And I don't know why. I don't even know what to tell you what it's doing. It just... I got no speed at all. It just gets so loose. They got one less set than you. Just get that rhythm. That's all tires passing you.
Phil, could this be frustration of trying to win a championship? Just getting we talked about keeping your cool. You get confused, you get frustrated here so easily. Sounds like the kid's frustrated.
Could be the money stop of the afternoon, and keep an eye on that 00. Won the pole, have the #1 pit selection. They come in second. Here's Tyler Reddick, Hermie.
It'll be 4 tires, this time 4 sticker. Goodyear Eagles go on the 19. He came in pit road on the 6th position. No changes for Tyler Reddick. Caitlin.
Well, for Matt Crafton, his feedback to the team is that 88 machine is plowing through the middle. It is also losing drive, so Crew Chief Junior Joyner has elected to go 1 round up on the right side track bar and make it a 4-tire stop. Vince.
Well, you heard the radio from Eric Jones, the championship points leader, and the frustration with not having the type of truck that he feels like he needs to get to the front today. They make a chassis adjustment. It's a 4-tire change, trying to snug it up and give him the grip he needs to make his way to the front as he pits from the 13th spot.
It's been a tough afternoon for Eric Jones. Great work by that #8 pit crew. He holds serve. Cole Custer came off second. Matt Crafton was third. That's big because he'll restart on the inside lane. Wrapping up the cleanup portion of our 6th caution of the day. 73 laps to go for the Camping World Truck Series here at Martinsville Speedway. John Hunter Nemechek is the race leader. We thought it would be Cole Custer restarting second. That not the case. Pit road speeding penalty upon exit, and Michael, you pointed out during the break he really didn't need to do it.
No, there was nowhere for him to go. He was solidly in the 2nd spot. He couldn't catch John Hunter Nemechek, and he was ahead of the 2 trucks behind him. Watch as he leaves. There goes Nemechek. There's no way to catch him. He takes advantage of that pit stall, but he keeps the hammer down and drives up there, and there's no reason for him to do that.
You have to go all the way to the yellow line. That's where the next timing line is. Watch him hit the throttle here, and then he crosses that yellow line. That's the segment that he was busted for speeding in. And how about losing all your track position with 70 laps to go?
Timothy Peters has done it twice. He's up to 7th. But, Phil, you make a mistake this late in the race, you can't overcome it.
Custer restarts 25th, puts Matt Crafton on the front row with Nemechek. Green flag in the air.
Spencer Gallagher in the 3rd spot there. 2 tires on that truck for the track position. See how that works. Tires have been really important today.
Tyler Reddick right in the mix. Eric Jones restarted right around the 10th position. He's got some work to do in the latter stages.
Crafton able to get down in front of Spencer Gallagher to hold on that second spot. Suarez way up the racetrack, losing some spots.
Job by Crafton to get in line. Cameron Haley right behind Gallagher, who took those 2 tires. Then it's Tyler Reddick and Timothy Peters, who continues to impress despite 2 issues on track. He is inside the top 10. And now caution number 7.
Back up if you can. Back up if you can.
We heard him say he thought he might have a flat tire. The right sides are definitely up. Left rear is gone,
We got a flat left rear tire, guys.
Yeah.
Flat left rear tire.
John West Townley was 14th when he got turned around.
It's going to be hard for John West to remain on the lead lap here.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lap.
No way. The leaders are already off of turn 2, and he's limping back to the pit lane.
Yeah,
no rubber at all on that left rear.
Yeah, the leader goes by now, so he's already 1 lap down.
So easy to make contact with another truck, get to rubbing on each other, and cut one of your tires. I think that's what happened to Townley.
Yeah, tire was already gone before that truck completely turned around.
Great effort by the 63 of Bobby Pierce to avoid hitting him when he came off turn 2. Ross Kenseth, first truck 1 lap down, gets the free pass.
Let's give it
the 26th position.
Let's give a shout out to Bobby Pierce. First asphalt race in a truck after his show he put on for us at Eldora, inside the top 20 in that 63. There he is. Great run.
He told us earlier that he hasn't found the cushion yet. And I said, Bobby, I raced here a lot, and I never found it either. So.
In addition to that tire issue, got a hood pin that's loose, but probably not near as significant here as it was for Daniel Hemrick last week at Talladega.
Yeah, a little bit different at 200 miles an hour than here at 110 miles an hour.
I believe I'd put some tape on that nose while I was there. Nevertheless, aerodynamics doesn't mean much, but that has certainly helped the truck turn a little bit better in the center of the corner. Look at the damage to that wheel.
Just grounded down there, no rubber. Rubber casing came completely off. Here's Ross Kenseth with the 18 truck coming back to pit road.
It's like an adjustment on that truck.
Going to have right around 65 laps to go when the green flag goes back in the air at Martinsville. John Hunter Nemechek is the race leader. Matt Crafton running second when we return. If you're in the flag stand today at Martinsville Speedway, it's been one busy afternoon under caution for the 7th time, getting set for the restart. But first, we look at the reason for the most recent yellow flag. It involved John West Townley.
You can check John West right there. The left rear tire is already down. It actually comes off the truck about the time he starts turning around. Daniel Suarez did an amazing job of getting by just as John West was moving up the racetrack. All these drivers did a super job avoiding John West.
Track position is everything. Timothy Peters from the back twice up to 6. He's stuck on the outside here.
You can't do that here, can you?
No, you can't. And that's why we know that we won't hear anything else out of the 00 truck of Cole Custer because of the mistake that he made earlier. Or is that the case?
Custer restarting 24th as you look at the highs and lows of a busy afternoon for Timothy Peters at his home track. Nemechek, Crafton, front row, green flag in the air as 63 laps remain at Martinsville.
Crafton was very fortunate to get down. Oh, little contact with our leader. Crafton now out in front.
What a save by Nemechek. Allows Crafton to go out on point.
The 3 wide.
Peters in that mix. Tyler Reddick is there. Gray Goulding, Brandon Jones. What a mess off of turn 4.
It looked like John Hunter split up in the center of the corner, made a little bit of contact with Crafton, and then Gallagher from behind hit John Hunter Nemechek.
Nemechek was trapped in the outside lane, able to slide down in front of Gallagher. Now side by side, you got Reddick and the 17 of Timothy Peters. What's going on with Gallagher, Hermie?
Great day so far for the GMS trucks. Both of them in the top 10. Last time down pit road, the 23 of Spencer Gallagher took 2 left side tires to gain track position. You need to roll to center a little bit better, and it looks like it's exactly what he's doing right now.
Hermie, that's a great call by that team. We talked about the left sides wearing a little bit more than the rights. They decided they would roll the dice, get those left, and he's fast right now. Just a couple laps ago, after this restart, he ran his fastest lap of the day.
It's a team that needed a good run. They have been struggling lately.
Ben Kennedy, we haven't talked a whole lot about Ben Kennedy. He's been solid this entire afternoon up into the top 10. How about Eric Jones, Vince?
Well, they've certainly had their issues today trying to find the right balance, and Eric says he just can't get the front and the rear to work together.
What are you waiting on to get going here, Jones? Are you waiting on the front and through the center and exit?
Yeah, it's so bad. It's just the right front takes off from underneath me every time on the restarts.
Does the rear ever have an issue, or is it locked in until the rears are burned off?
It's locked in until the rears get burned off.
Eric Jones came in with a championship lead of 18 points over second place Tyler Reddick. He's lost some spots of the 3 championship contenders. He's third in that mix right now.
And as of now, his advantage is 12 points, and that would be over Matt Crafton, who's been able to really pick up some ground today in the championship battle. And Crafton in a good position now. He's got a half a second lead over second place Cameron Haley, and he's collecting a bonus point by being on point.
I call it a great position right now for Matt Crafton. Not even sure we thought it was possible to win this race from the 13th spot. Certainly in the driver's seat now.
I'll tell you who's free falling now is Timothy Peters. Austin Cindric got around him, and then Gray Goulding. He keeps drifting back. You can see Johnny Sauter right on the back of Peters now. Watch the contact from Cindric. This 17-year-old kid never been in a truck before he got to Martinsville.
Dives to the inside. Timothy Peters wanted that spot. Came down a little bit. Austin kept his nose in there. Got the spot.
Brad Keselowski's got to be happy today, right? Two young kids here. Reddick always talks about how difficult this track is for him. Cindric making his debut, first time ever in a truck, and both of them solidly inside the top 10.
This kid has been totally impressive. But Reddick, I mean, after practice yesterday, I didn't think he had a chance of running in the top 5. And that team has done a nice job of adjusting this 19 truck, keeping his championship hopes alive.
And I guess we shouldn't be surprised. He came here for the first time last fall, finished 6th, came here in the spring, finished 5th.
He's gotten a lot of heat from behind right now. Brandon Jones has had a really fast 33 truck, and they've all caught now Spencer Gallagher.
Speaking of heat, how about one teammate on another at the front? Matt Crafton has the lead, but he's also got company, Caitlin.
He certainly does, and he went into this race on a mission to make up those points he's lost over the last several weeks. But right now, everything's smooth sailing for the 88 team. They said it looks good. The left side looks great. Set your pace. You're starting to leave the field.
Brandon Jones working inside of Spencer Gallagher. Perhaps those 2 tires starting to wear off on the 23. The 19 also got around him, and here's Ben Kennedy going to the inside.
Boy, it almost seems like once they go, they really go. Spencer Gallagher got the great track position, did a nice job early on the restart here, but again, continuing to fall back. Eric Jones, the 4, is going to move to the inside.
Bill, that's interesting you say that. Once they go, because that's what we've seen out of the 4 truck all day today. He's been okay for a bit, but then the tires burn off and back he fades. See if the team made the right adjustments for him to stay in this battle up front till the end.
What's up, Vince?
Yeah, Michael, just to add on to your point, and it is a great point, Rudy Fugle, the crew chief for Eric Jones, just told him a moment ago, try not to run it too hard right now, because if it goes green the rest of the way, we need to have something left when they start coming back to us. But boy, that's got to be a delicate balance, and how patient you must be when the others are banging on your bumper.
Yeah, and you could hear the frustration, Vince, in Eric's voice earlier in this race, but I think he has done an unbelievable job. First 10 races of the year, led nearly 700 laps. Only 55 laps led in the last 9 races, but he showed a lot of patience. Average finish 5.5, and Michael, that's why he's the championship leader.
Yeah, but Adam, look at that gap. If that truck does start to slip, he's got them lined up behind him. Each position is a point. He's only 13 out in front of Crafton as we run right now. There's 7 or 8 points right behind him. He better hope that truck stays up under him till the checker.
You know, guys, we may say that this is Eric Jones' first attempt at a championship. Rudy Fugle told us, remember now, we won the 2 owners championships the last 2 years, and Eric Jones was a big part of that. He went to Phoenix 2 years ago, running very limited schedule, and won that race out there. Last year, he ran most of the races towards the end of the season, had solid finishes, allowed them to win 2 owners championships. Yes, maybe not a driver's championship, but he's been very much involved in a little contact. Timothy Peters around again.
Dalton Sargent got him going into turn 3. It's going to be caution number 8, and it comes out with 45 laps to go, and I would guess Peters isn't going to be happy about that one.
Well, he was falling back through the field and doing a nice job of hanging on. Looks like he's lost a left front tire now, though. 3 spins and you're out. You're out of competition for winning this baby, I know.
Yeah, this is about the time, though. 45 laps to go right now. Again, I don't think you can pit now and win this race, but you can certainly pit now and improve your position.
Look at Sargent. It was just an opening that he couldn't keep from trying to get into. Sauter opened the door. Timothy tried to close it, and Dalton Sargent was committed to the bottom.
See, Johnny Sauter makes the move on Peters. Timothy was going to try to get in between them. Dalton Sargent obviously realized what was happening. He said, hey, I've got the 17 on the outside. I've got to make it happen right now. Did nothing wrong.
That's Martinsville.
Yeah, and Timothy knew there was a good chance that somebody was going to be there, but if he can keep him out of getting there, he's that much better off, Hermie.
What a frustrating day it's been for Timothy Peters. Winner last week at Talladega. Those of you who may not have heard, the sister of crew chief Marcus Richmond passed away this week, so Ashley Richmond again above the driver's side door of the 17. He's been fast since they unloaded this weekend, but no racing luck the truck has been too loose on long runs, Vince.
Well, and our championship leader, Eric Jones, has come to pit road. He says it's a little snug center, decent drive off, but they want to give him that fresh rubber. As Rudy Fugle told him, when we go back out, we're going to have the precious stuff out there. But only 42 laps remain. We'll see what Eric Jones can do at this position.
I think that's all the result of how that truck was falling off when they got 30 or 40 laps on the tires. They knew they had to do that.
Going to be 26 trucks on the lead lap. It'll be difficult. 40 laps to go here at Martinsville. Things getting good. The race leader is Matt Crafton. He's trying to rally back in this championship battle. And the man who came in leading in the title fight, Eric Jones, just pitted. He restarts in the 19th spot. Tyler Reddick also involved in this championship hunt. He goes fourth as we go green.
Great restart by Matt Crafton. Look at John Hunter Nemechek trying to grab that second spot back from Haley.
John Hunter pushed up a little bit on exit, and Haley was able to hold him off. What a move by Haley to keep that second spot. Crafton likes seeing that. He wants those trucks behind him to battle so he can pull away. He pulled away late on that last run.
Look at these guys battling for space on the inside. How about Cole Custer? Going to move Gray Galding, the 54 truck, out of the way.
And that'll put that 00 back inside the top 10. He's been the dominating truck today. Started on pole, led 96 laps, but got caught speeding on pit road and restarted moments ago outside the top 20. Perhaps he's got a chance to get back in the top 5 with 37 to go.
Gray Galding trying to get to the inside. Pulled over on the 0-2 Tyler Young. Tyler hit the curb, but somehow they avoided contact.
That was a great job by Galding. He knew what he was putting himself in a position to get, and he was able to avoid it.
Great perspective here. On board with Cole Custer, working over Ben Kennedy. This is the battle for 9th.
That makes me very happy. This is a great camera shot. Look at the move to the inside. They go around Hightower.
Hightower is a lap down, that not 4 position.
Watch him work to the inside.
Oh, it slipped a little bit. You think Happy Halloween, Ben Kennedy is coming from the bumper of Cole Custer?
And look at this, points as they run after Eric Jones came to pit road, gave up that position inside the top 10.
But it changes every
19th,
lap.
But he's gaining positions. That's why it went from -1 to -3 for Matt Crafton, because Jones has now gotten back up to 17.
Remember, Jones has about 30-lap pressure tires, and all these guys running up front here. We saw 30-lap tires make a difference early on. Let's see what Eric Jones can do with them.
Cole Custer, contact with Ben Kennedy. Kennedy shot wide. Custer goes by for 9th.
There was that Happy Halloween I was telling you about.
And hey, less than 40 to go. Pretty much the gloves are off at this stage, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. We've seen a lot of contact here since this last restart.
Gray Galding now working on Ben Kennedy. Daniel Suarez, who's had a couple of issues today. A little bump and trying to run by Spencer Gallagher.
Gallagher's slipping on those tires. People are running into him because he's in the way a bit. You see the back of that truck, the tailgate smashed in.
Yeah, this late in the race here with just over 30 laps to go. You don't want to spend 6 or 8 laps trying to get by somebody. You give them a bump in one corner, and that's the next one you're going by him.
Ross Kenseth trying to get by for position. He does to the inside of Tyler Young. Timothy Peters comes with him. Right behind him, David Gilliland. He got a little damage in that opening caution of the day back in our first 10 laps.
Dalton Sargent gets a run to Gilliland. David's going to let him have that spot. Austin Hill tries to fill the space.
30 laps to go. Eric Jones making up some ground. He's 16th, Vince.
Well, and the team told him, you got to keep in mind, it's the last 40 laps, now 30 at Martinsville. We expect to have several restarts, so keep your nose clean, but don't be afraid to stick it in, and now we're going to have one of those restarts because we've got a yellow on the course.
Right on cue. 9th caution of the day, out for the 07 of Ray Black Jr.
There's a lot of guys that want to see cautions. One that doesn't is Matt Crafton and Cameron Haley. They think they can get out front and settle this thing to themselves. Crafton is going to have the preferred line on the restart. Haley will have to be on the outside and fight with John Hunter to see who runs second.
Yeah, everybody watched what Eric Jones was able to do. He ran about 10 green flag laps, really didn't move up a whole bunch of positions, so I think everybody in front of him stays on the racetrack.
Well, and according to the scoring monitor right now, he's 16th, which means he'll restart in the outside lane, not what you want here.
Just got away from him a little bit, just trying to carry too much speed on exit.
Well, we saw Timothy Peters do that early in the race. That's how treacherous this place is. It's flat. You try to get that power down to those rear tires. You get just a little bit too aggressive, and around you go.
You said yesterday during practice, most difficult racetrack that we come to, especially in your eyes, Mike.
I just feel like the timing of it and how hard it is to balance running hard into the corner and hard on the brakes and getting off of them, you know, trying to take care of your equipment. The take care of your equipment is over with now, though, Phil. We're going to run as hard as we can these last 30 laps.
And everything you explained is how hard it is to do by yourself.
Yes.
And then you got a bunch of trucks around you.
Some great stories in our top 10 as you see Ben Kennedy come to pit road, getting his service here with 27 to go. Matt Crafton out front, trying to win his 3rd consecutive championship. And if he delivers at season's end, today could go a long way in being a difference. He has been really good this afternoon. Cameron Haley restarts 2nd. John Hunter Nemechek will restart 3rd. 4th, Brandon Jones. 5th goes to Tyler Reddick. A thought on that championship battle? We start our coverage on pit road with Vince.
Well, Adam, as you mentioned, he restarted 19th on the previous restart. He's up now in the 15th, 16th range, so still a lot of work to be done in this championship lead, which began today as 18 points, has shrunk to 5. So some nervous pacing going on in this 4 pit box right now. But Eric says the car's a little too tight in the center for his liking. Hermie?
Vince, Tyler Reddick so far has been very, very solid. He'll restart 5th. Which the good news, it puts him on the inside on this next restart, exactly where he wants to be. They're in a little bit of a situation where they're happy where they are. They'd like to get a few more, but they know if they can finish this off, it'll be a good points day for the 19, Caitlin.
Well, Matt Crafton is one of the guys who is trying to make up a lot of ground after some frustrating races the last couple of weeks. But overall, he's pretty happy with what he's had out of his truck so far today. Just a little bit tight through the center is his biggest feedback at this point in the race.
And a huge break here for Eric Jones. We saw Ben Kennedy on pit road. That means Eric goes from 16th to 15th in the running order, and when we restart this race, he'll be on the all-important inside lane.
That could equate to maybe 3 or 4 spots on a first lap or 2 after this restart.
We talked about some of the great stories inside the top 10. Austin Cindric, youngest winner in the Continental Tire Series earlier this season, got to victory lane at age 16 north of the border in Canada. He's running 6th, and this is debut race in the Camping World Truck Series. Johnny Saunders had to battle back a little bit today. The 2-time winner going to restart 7th. Hemrick up in the top 10 once again. It's been a good second half of the season for him. And keep your eye on the 00 of Cole Custer, restarting 9th after leading all those laps early, trying to battle back from a pit road speeding penalty. Green flag with 24 to go.
Brandon Jones wanted to get to the inside, couldn't do it. Tyler Reddick was there, battling for 4th.
What about Cameron Haley? He hangs on the outside of Crafton, looking for the lead.
John Hunter Nemechek loves this because it may open the door for him to get by for that runner-up position, side by side for 2nd. And you know if Nemechek gets there, he will cut Crafton no slack, and he does. Here comes Reddick looking for 3rd.
Look at Eric Jones. He had a good break there as he follows Caleb Holman in a battle for position, trying to move to the inside of Daniel Hemrick. Eric Jones now up in the top 12. Oh, and another caution flag we're going to get.
The 5 of Dalton Sargent making his 3rd career start here today. 17-year-old out of Boca Raton, Florida.
Eric Jones all the way up to the 11th spot. Nobody stops. He will be on the inside again, guys.
That late pit stop for Jones proving to be big. Whoever wins today at Martinsville is flat out going to earn it. We've gone to our Camping World 20 to go, and the driver out front is the guy that has won the last 2 championships and trying to get back in the championship chase with a victory here today. And look who's behind him. It's the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek.
I bet these 2 paths crossed before in a battle late in the race. See if that happens again. What's wrong with Daniel Hemrick, Caitlin?
Well, Daniel Hemrick had this rough start to the weekend here at Martinsville Speedway, but that team has been diligently working on that truck throughout the course of the weekend. Had a good qualifying effort, has had a strong truck throughout the race here today. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for Daniel Hemrick.
So there's a look at the 88 of Matt Crafton. He's led 43 laps today, but he cannot lead the most laps to get that bonus point. He's just hoping for a win. And remember this, back in June?
Running second spot, battled John Hunter. Nemechek got to the inside, got loose, had to chase his truck up the hill. Hard contact. Poor finish for Matt Crafton here.
Crafton would be leading the points if it weren't for that contact from Nemechek and that wreck that's followed.
Yeah, Matt ended up with a 21st place finish there at Gateway. Certainly doesn't need another 21st place finish here, and he could count himself out.
Eric Jones making up ground, but we're staying under caution a long time. That's not what they need, Vince.
Well, but they did need the cautions, and remember with 40 to go and they came and pitted, we wondered if he could make his way back up through the field. Restarted 19th, then we had a caution. Restarted 15th, then a caution. Now he's going to restart 11th. Here's the boss, Kyle Busch, on the radio talking about that track position.
You're doing really good, bro. Just keep that odd number for him, Tony. Keep making sure we're odd number. I think it's even better. Even if you could pass for 8th, I think it's better to be 9th. Just be a restart show from here on out.
So that was Kyle, and when he referenced Tony, that's Tony Hirschman, the spotter. There's a look at Kyle's been on the pit box of Eric Jones throughout the course of the day. Remember, Kyle and KBM has owner championships, but never a driver championship here in the Truck Series. Eric Jones closing in on it, trying to hold on.
The 19 of Tyler Reddick, not as lucky on this restart. He'll be on the outside of the second row. Another good point brought up by his spotter, TJ Majors. They had to go around the 5 of Dalton Sargent and the wrecker up on the top side of the racetrack. A lot of debris and rubber laying around the top of this racetrack. They've encouraged Tyler to do spend some extra time before we go back to green, cleaning the rubber off of the tires on the 19.
Tell you what, this 19-year-old from California has done a nice job this afternoon. We look at our Ford Facts, and this season they've done a nice job. 6 victories, one of them coming right here at Martinsville in the spring when Joey Logano led 150 laps, got his first career win. 28 top 10 finishes and out front for over 400 laps, and most of that stat line courtesy of the guys at Brad Keselowski Racing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And how about right now? They have 2 trucks inside of the top 10. Austin Cindric with his debut doing such a nice job. He will get the benefit of starting 7th on the inside of this restart. So critical here with inside of 20 to go to be on the inside for this restart.
Well, put Cameron Haley on the inside behind his teammate Matt Crafton. I think maybe Matt likes this situation better than with Nemechek behind him, because Nemechek has a really fast truck. They've had trouble in the past. Maybe Haley takes that spot away from John Hunter and gives a bit of a cushion there for Crafton.
There were some warnings on restarts earlier. If you're Matt Crafton, you want to be careful here. You don't want to make a mistake and be penalized by NASCAR in this situation.
Remember losing the lead late early this spring here. Joey Logano restarted 3rd and was able to pass Matt Crafton.
That was on a green-white checker.
All Matt Crafton has to do now, Phil, is be perfect.
That's all.
Nemechek has been strong in that outside lane. Green flag waving with 15 laps to go.
Nemechek got in too far. He's going to lose a lot of ground.
There goes Reddick to the inside. Caution is out once again as they wreck behind him. The 54 of Gray Gaulding having a problem. 11th caution of the afternoon.
NASCAR will have to determine when they cross the last scoring loop who was ahead, whether Nemechek was ahead of Haley or not.
And another position that will be key is our championship leader, Eric Jones. He's in the middle of a glob of trucks. Where was he when the caution flew?
Was it good, though, for Nemechek? Because if he's scored 3rd when the caution came out, that would put him on that all-important
that might be okay.
lane.
We heard Kyle Busch say whatever you can do to make sure Eric restarts on the inside. Same situation for John Hunter.
Gray Gaulding just tried to take the low lane, and I think that was Tyler Young that was in there, and there just wasn't room for that move.
This mess you saw over in turn 1, all of it happening right behind Eric Jones.
He did several donuts down into turn 1.
He's got him on his truck, too.
Oh, how did I know you would work that in?
How about the damage to Tyler Young's truck? What an outstanding week he's had. Been fast in practice.
Something's been almost in his cab there. Tore loose his duct for some fresh air. Wonder what got up there. Was that part of the 54 truck?
Certainly might have been. You can see the damage right at the bottom of that A post right there.
See if we can see.
Watch the 54. He's in right behind Timothy Peters. He just turns left. We all talk about wanting the inside, the battle for space. He wanted that space, but Tyler Young was there. He was committed.
You know, inside Camping World 20 to go, you're going to take every inch, and there just wasn't room, Vince. What'd they say on the O2 pit?
Well, and, normally you'd come in and fix that damage, but not in this situation. Tyler Young, they said, stay out. We're too close to the end. Drive it the way you can drive it, but we can't come in now and fix it.
Tyler, a top 10 finish, matching his career best last week at Talladega and going home next week to Texas. You'd love to see him finish something strong off here at Martinsville today and keep the momentum going. They get set for that home game next Friday night. You can watch it here on FS1.
I can't wait to go to Texas. That's sheer speed for these trucks. Tyler Young has been such a great story this year, and hopefully he can have another good run down there.
Hey, we've mentioned some good stories inside the top 10. Austin Cindric's name, we've called him on more than one occasion today. What about the 75 of Caleb Holman? So good at Bristol. Looked like he was going to be a contender to win the thing. Didn't work out, but they've had a solid effort here again today.
Yeah, crew chief Chris Carey said that was not a fluke. We're going to be good like that, and they certainly have.
Bartow, Florida's Rick Wilson is down there with the team this weekend. He drove that 75 car to victory lane for Chris Carrier, and now we're getting some support from Rick for this whole team. Great to see these underdog teams come up with solid runs.
And great to see the veterans of the sport back at the racetrack enjoying an afternoon of racing.
Yeah, and if you didn't see Rick for the last 20 years, you'd never know he left. I mean, he looked exactly the same.
It'll be a big point day for that 88 truck, Cameron, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
Always nice to have a subtle reminder, right?
And that was his crew chief, Jeff Hensley, that wants to win this race worse than anything.
I think that means don't rough up the 88. You can't rough up the 88. That's your teammate. You got to try to win the race. You got to give it all you got, but you can't rough him up.
All right, this restart going to come with 10 to go, and we'll likely have a couple of more. Spring race here went to overtime. Front row, Crafton, Nemechek. Here we go once again at Martinsville.
Good start by Crafton. Look at Nemechek. He just can't get going up there. It's going to give the inside to Cameron Haley, and he takes it.
Bouncing off of each other, coming off of turn 2. Little smoke off of Nemechek's truck. That's Brandon Jones right behind him.
Well, I tell you what, John Hunter did a great job of getting down in front of Jones, and Jones couldn't do anything about it. He had to just let Hunter Nemechek down.
How about that 98 truck there, Johnny Sauter? How can he be up there racing for a top 5 spot?
He's
right behind him, Cole Custer.
He's doing it the hard way, and look on the inside. There's that 75 truck of Holman. He's going to try to fill the hole that the 29 of Cindric opens up.
Coming back to 8 laps to go. 8 remaining now at Martinsville. Sauter able to clear Cindric and pulled out in line. Little contact there. Caleb Holman drives it in. Cindric saves it somehow off the corner, but this is not going to work. 12th caution of the day. Multiple trucks involved on the back straightaway.
And Eric Jones was right in the middle of that and made it through it.
Eric Jones living right. A late pit stop, getting the cautions when he needs them, and he has managed the latter portion of this race quite nicely.
No, I don't know. No, only one I've seen manage it nicely is Matt Crafton. He's been perfect on every restart. That was a 3-wide crash that Eric Jones just did an amazing job of working his way through. But, man, these guys are battling.
You know, now our scoring monitor has reset. And Jones, who was being shown 10th after working his way through the problems on the back straightaway, being shown in the 13th position.
Well, I think it'll reset again.
And now it has.
Look at Eric Jones right there in the middle of those trucks.
Does he have damage, Phil? He was being squeezed on both sides.
Wow. Definitely has some damage, whether it's rubbing the tires or not, I don't know. See, Caleb Holman had a hole there. He dove in it on the inside of Austin Cindric. Austin did a nice job saving that truck, but then they came along too wide beside him on the outside.
That's how tough it is to win a championship in this truck series. This is as physical as you will see in NASCAR.
Our scoring monitor has updated, and it is officially showing Eric Jones in 13th.
And look at Ross Kenseth just slipping through there as well. Great debut in the 18 truck by Ross.
Look at him 4 or 5 wide here as they come off of turn number 2.
On board with Eric Jones. This ought to be quite a ride.
I don't know if I can take it or not.
was out.
Yeah. And he had to go. He had to get in the throttle and push Austin Cindric on around.
Look at him. That's just some great driving by Jones. He was doing everything he could to work his way through. Looked like the whole world was going to end right in front of him, but he squeezes through it. I don't see much damage to the front of that truck, Bill.
Now, these guys had a front row seat. That'll give you an anxiety attack, won't it?
How about the owner, Kyle Busch?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty minimal damage for the situation he was in right there.
That's crazy.
Going to show 4 to go. We come by the start-finish line this time.
There's some rubbing on that fender, but I don't think it'll hurt for just a couple laps. You can see the Goodyear's worn off of it. That was from the other trucks, not his fender, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's fine to get to the end here. He's being shown right now in the 12th spot, which means he will have the outside for this restart.
If you're just joining us on this Saturday afternoon here on FS1, getting set for college football, Oklahoma on the road against Kansas. You can watch the kickoff of that game over on Fox Sports 2. And as soon as we wrap here in Martinsville, Virginia with the Camping World Truck Series, you'll see Big 12 action here on FS1. But again, if you want to watch Oklahoma and Kansas, go to Fox Sports 2. We'll get you to Lawrence as soon as we finish up here.
There will be no more contact in the Big 12 than there is here at Martin.
I promise.
These guys are all over one another with a championship hanging in the balance.
The 1-to-go signal has been given, and when the green flag goes in the air, there will be 2 laps remaining. Since they are the final 2 laps of regulation, this would not signify our first attempt at a green-white checker finish. No overtime yet.
Yeah, it would not surprise me to see us get some green-white checker finishes here.
And Matt Crafton is thinking, if I can get a perfect start and those idiots behind me just won't wreck each other.
You call them idiots?
He did, I didn't. That's what Matt's thinking. Just don't wreck each other and I'll go win this race and get right back into this championship battle.
This time he's got his teammate right beside him. John Hunter Nemechek behind him. Green flag is waving. 2 laps to go at Martinsville.
Check 1 box. Perfect start by Crafton.
A good exit on turn number 2.
A great exit by Cameron Haley to take the second spot away from Nemechek.
And Nemechek pushes Haley out of the way.
Here they come out of turn 4. White flag in the air. Next flag ends it at Martinsville.
Look at Reddick on the inside of Haley. They make contact. How about Cole Custer on the inside?
Custer coming through, getting around Reddick for a position. Great battles all over the track on this final lap, but it's all happening behind Matt Crafton coming off of turn 4. 5th win of the year, going to come at Martinsville.
Thank you.
For Eric Jones, came in the
good work, guys. Good work.
Eric Jones came in the championship leader, battled back to 10th.
Yeah, just solid day. Again, all 3 of our championship contenders up in the top 10.
I will officially never doubt Tyler Reddick and that team again. They didn't look like they had a prayer to top 10 finish yesterday. Come home in 5th spot.
Look how clean that truck is. Look at every other truck on the racetrack is beat all to pieces probably. I don't think he's got a mark on that truck.
Doesn't that remind you of Matt Crafton? Isn't that who he is?
Remember yesterday, final practice, they shut it down with 20 minutes to go. So we're going to make a qualifying run. We're good.
Yeah, and he was, what, 22nd or something in final practice?
Qualified 13th. We said everything okay. He didn't advance to the final round. He said started 13th here in the spring. Worked out fine for me. He does it here again this afternoon. 13th to the checkered flag, and in the process that led 63 laps.
We said we thought he could win all 4 of the remaining races, 1 down, and he's in victory lane.
You can throw out the statistics over his career. Average finish here at Martinsville, maybe 10th or something like that. The rest of these 3 races, never count this man out, this team out. This is a whole different Matt Crafton and ThorSport Racing team this year, even though they won the last 2 championships.
And throw out that point cushion that Eric Jones had. Oh yeah, he's still up 10 points, but that's nothing. That's a couple of positions a race from here to Homestead. And with the power that the 88 team has shown, being able to get to victory lane, this is a battle.
and going to Texas Friday night, where Matt won earlier this season, and we know how strong they have been at the mile-and-a-half. Before today, their 4 victories in 2015, all at mile-and-a-half tracks.
Where'd he go? Oh, he's over on the back.
And a reminder again, when our coverage wraps here in Martinsville, we will send you to Lawrence, Kansas. College football battle inside the Big 12. Kansas playing host to Oklahoma. First, we begin our post-race coverage with Vince Welch.
Tyler Reddick finished 5th here today and even cut into that championship deficit a little bit, but you're shaking your head as you get out of the truck. Why?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun out there for our Checker Flag Foundation F-150. We were in really good position there at the end, and obviously I tried to get around the 13 there, and I gave him all the room I had and a little more, and I hit the curb and actually messed us up and cost a few spots at the end. Good high racing by everybody out there. It was as clean as Martinsville can get. It's a shame we left 5th. I felt like we could have run 3rd or 2nd, but that's how this place team goes. We could have got wrecked on the last lap and finished 20th or last on the lead lap, so we'll take it. We'll go on from here.
Kept himself in contention, Adam.
No question about it.
They're the best at that. Remember the wreck early at Vegas with his teammate? Unfortunately, Austin Terry.
A lot of damage.
Hard in the outside wall. This truck was
that truck.
Yeah, on a high-speed aerodynamic track, they survive. They just keep on coming back, coming at you. That's how you win a championship. And I'm so happy that this 19 team is still in the battle.
And he too loves Texas Motor Speedway, where we're racing on Friday night. The man who had the championship lead coming in, Eric Jones, he's still out front, but a tough afternoon for him, Hermie.
Yeah, these guys battled all day long. You end up with a top 10 finish and 10-point lead in the points, but you guys, what a battle the 14 put up today.
Yeah, we did. It's disappointing for sure. It's definitely not what team's capable of, a lot more than that. And our Tundra, I thought, was a lot better than that, in practice. But, just to fight all day, and we missed it a little bit as an organization. I think it showed we kind of just were off most of the day for the 3 trucks. But we'll work on it, get it better. Texas is a strong one for us. We were good there in the spring, and Phoenix has always been good at, and Homestead we'll be fine at as well. So looking forward to it.
That's Eric Jones. He finishes 10th.
Thanks, Hermie. And now we give you our Ram Guts and Glory. Matt Crafton, the focus. Let's go back 1 week. Leading at Talladega and in position to do great things. Gets back in the draft and then caught up in that accident late. We thought it could be the difference of them having a chance at a 3rd straight title.
Probably couldn't have any more go wrong than went wrong for Matt Crafton last week.
Well, let's go to the glory part. I like this. Matt Crafton does his job on the restarts, dives down into turn 1, a perfect corner, clears his teammate, and drives off to victory.
And I saw a lot of leadership out of him this weekend, which is the reason he has been able to win the last 2 championships, and he's in victory lane today, Caitlin.
Well, Adam, here at Martinsville Speedway today, Matt Crafton has earned his 5th win of the year and his 2nd here at Martinsville Speedway. I know it's been a difficult couple weeks for you. How nice is it to turn the corner and get a win here today, Matt?
Very, very good. It's been a very trying last 2 months, but finally get this thing back in relaying. It's awesome. These guys just never give up, and we weren't that great on the short run. And like I said, I never give up on these guys. They just keep fine-tuning it. The second to last run, we just got really tight for whatever reason. Junior called an audible, made a little change right there, and the thing was good. And I just had to pace myself and save enough tires there at the end of the race, so I know I could have some green-white checkered speed there at the end, because we know that was what it's going to be about here at the end. So thanks, Menards and Duke and Ronda.
Congratulations. Matt Crafton chipping away at that points lead, getting win number 5 here today.
He gained 13 points this afternoon, did Matt Crafton. He's back in the 2nd position, only 10 out going to Texas, where, as I said, he won earlier this season back in June.
Tyler Reddick, 13 back here. This race tightened up once again. We had a little bit of a gap last week after Talladega, tightened right back up.
I just want to go hug somebody. I mean, that's as good as it gets. These guys are so determined to drive off with this championship.
What a fun afternoon in Martinsville, Virginia. We'll see you Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the trucks. Now it's college football. Let's go to Joe Davis and Brady Quinn in Lawrence, Kansas.